Chapter 1928. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Read book web, update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Seeing the pile of walnut shells, Sima US smiled. It seems that there was a delicious person here before. Such a big pile, I don't know how long it will take to eat. Miss, this walnut shell is so hard I stepped on it but it didn't break. Black Shadow said. Is there such a hard walnut? Sima Yue walked over, picked up a walnut shell and squeezed it hard. It really didn't move but her hand was hurt. Such a hard walnut, how did this person smash it? Even if a mountain was used to smash it, it might not be able to break it. He should have used some treasure. Huan said. This is not a walnut from the ghost realm. Mou walked over, took the walnut in Yue's hand and looked at it for a while. This was brought in from somewhere else. The human realm or the devil realm. Wu Lingyu also came over to take a look. This is not something from the devil realm, there is no devil chi on it. However, it seems to be different from the spirit chi of the human realm. Anything from any realm would have some spirit chi of that place, but the spirit chi on this walnut shell was very strange. It was not the spirit chi of the three realms. If it is not the spirit chi of the three realms, could it be from other places? Sima Yue looked at the walnut shell in her hand thoughtfully. Although she had never seen other worlds, she had already guessed it in her heart. However, this was the first time she saw something that did not belong to this world. It seems that a guy from the outside world who likes to eat walnuts came here and left this pile of things. Black Shadow said, I don't know where he came from, I really want to see him. Mou looked at those things and thought of the little boy. I think this may be that little guy's doing. He set out his guess. Yeah. Really? The Dragon God Order has always been a legendary thing, no one has seen it. Now that it suddenly appeared, it is very likely that he came from the outside world. Mou analyzed, and he most likely came for you. In this world, who doesn't know that you are the most attracted to thunder and lightning? Only an outsider would do that. Yeah. People from the outside world are looking for me? You think too much. Sima Yue did not think so. The world is so big, anything is possible. She didn't believe that a slightly different person would be related to her. Alright, eat your food. Don't think about it. She then returned to the grill and began to turn the grilled fish on the grill. When the others saw that she was not interested in it, they stopped staring at it and came back to watch her roast the fish. After resting here for a day, the red bird continued to lead them forward until they reached a swamp. Sima Yue saw the red bird hovering in the sky and asked Mou, what's wrong? Mou put down the teacup in his hand. The little red bird smelled the scent of the treasure. Baby? Really? Sima Yue's interest was piqued. She stood up from her seat and said, since there are treasures, let's go down and take a look. Don't get excited too early. The little red bird only sensed that there are treasures in this area. It doesn't know where exactly it is. Mou poured cold water on her. Sima Yue did not mind and said with a smile, it's good to have a range. Little red bird, find a place to stop. The little red bird nodded, lowered its altitude, and then chose a relatively dry place to stop. The group of people got off the back of the little red bird. Mou waved his hand and the little red bird disappeared. Sima Yue was very familiar with this scene. It seemed that Mou also had a place like the spirit pagoda that could store life. Miss, someone has been here before. These footprints are still very new. As soon as Huan came down, he looked around and soon found the footprints around him. Judging from these footprints, there are quite a few people. Wu Lingyu glanced at the footprints and understood the situation. They should also be here for the treasure. Then we should be able to find clues by following these footprints. Sima Yue smiled happily. It was really good that someone was showing them the way. They followed the footprints and walked forward. Everyone used their spiritual power to make their bodies lighter. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu were the easiest. They directly turned back into their soul bodies. Is there really a treasure in this environment? The Black Shadow felt that this place was too ordinary. It did not look like there was a treasure at all. The most important thing was that there was not a single person in the swamp. If there was really a treasure, how could there be no one? If the little red bird says there is, then there is. Mou replied. Then call the little red bird out to show us the way. Sima Yue requested. I said before that the little red bird's senses only have a range of 100 miles. Mou said, if you want to find the treasure, you can only find it yourself. The footprints disappeared here. Wu Lingyu turned back and said to Sima Yue. Sima Yue stepped forward and looked. It really disappeared here. It probably went underground. Let's go down too. Okay. They used their spiritual power to cover themselves and then jumped into the swamp. The mud here was very soft. They immediately sank as soon as they jumped in. They sank for a long time. After sinking through the mud, they encountered the hard rocks below. There was a hole under those rocks. It looked very new. It should have been left by those people before. Let's go down the hole. Sima Yue went down the hole first. She originally thought that there would be hard rocks below. She did not expect that there would be an underground river below. Sima Yue did not pay attention and fell into the water. The few people who came down next also fell into the water. The few of them swam to the shore. Wu Lingyu shot out a flame, illuminating the underground river. Corpses. Not far from Sima Yue, a few corpses of underworld beasts floated on the water. It looks like it was done by those people. Sima Yue said, to be able to kill these underworld beasts without destroying the surrounding environment, it looks like those people are very strong. They shouldn't be weak. Huan went up to check the corpses of the underworld beasts and found that they were all killed in one move. These underworld beasts were very powerful, but they were killed without even having the chance to resist. Could be seen that these people were very strong. Let's continue to follow their traces. With someone leading the way, they did not have to bother looking for them. They walked all the way up the underground river for nearly half a day. Along the way they saw a lot of underworld beasts that had been killed, some of which were quite precious. Those people actually killed them directly, which made Sima Yue a little puzzled. These people seemed to be in a hurry. Boom! The sound of fighting came from the front. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu looked at each other. Did they finally catch up? The fighting in front seems to be very fierce. Should we go up and take a look? Chapter 1929. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Do you want to take a look? The answer was yes. Since they were already here, of course they had to take a look. But what should they do? Watch the fire from the other side or get involved? Anyway, we can all hide our auras, let's get closer and take a look. Sima Yue said. They were all the strongest of the strong, so it was not a big deal for them to hide their auras. After she said that, everyone restrained their auras and walked towards the place of the battle. What surprised them was that the terrain behind them was all the way up, and finally they came out of the ground and came to a swamp in the mountains. On the top of the mountain, 2 people were fighting fiercely, and in the swamp at the foot of the mountain 2 groups of people were also confronting each other. In the middle of the mud, there was a white flower blooming. The flower was the size of a bowl, and the petals looked fleshy, somewhat similar to Ganoderma lucidum, but it had 3 layers inside and outside, a bit like a lotus. A breeze blew, bringing with it a faint fragrance of flowers. 10,000-year-old Ganoderma lucidum. Sima Yue recognized the flower and said with some surprise, I didn't expect to see such a treasure here. Is this very precious? The Black Shadow asked. It's a holy healing medicine. Huan knew more about these things than the Black Shadow, and he just happened to know this Ganoderma lucidum. Although the Black Shadow did not know the specific effects, it was enough to show its preciousness since it could be used as a holy healing medicine. Ganoderma lucidum itself is not easy to survive, and it is very attractive to spirit beasts. It is often eaten by spirit beasts before it grows. So it is very difficult to see one that is more than 2,000 years old. I didn't expect to see one that is more than 10,000 years old here. It's really rare. Sima Yue's tone was full of joy, and it could be seen that she also liked this Ganoderma lucidum very much. There is a natural barrier here. Wu Lingyu looked up at the top of his head. It is this barrier that creates a good living environment for it. No wonder these people came from underground. It turned out that it was because they couldn't come from above. Boom! The power of the strong impact flattened a mountain, and the ground shook a little. After this move, the 2 people who were fighting each fell on a mountain. Among them, the younger man in white was more seriously injured, while the other man in black looked much more relaxed. Wei Xing, you actually went back on your word. The white-clothed man clutched his chest. Fresh blood flowed out from his body and dyed his white clothes black. He looked extremely miserable. Wei Xing smiled sinisterly. Did I promise you anything? Wei Xing, you said that you won't fight with us for snow fungus. What are you doing now? A red-robed woman below cried out, You have already received our family's reward, yet you still want to snatch the snow fungus. Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning? Our deal is that I'll clear the obstacles on the road and you'll pay me. Did I not do it? Didn't I kill the underworld beasts along the way? Wei Xing snorted coldly. Didn't I do as we agreed? Now that we have found the snow fungus, our agreement has come to an end. Who will get the snow fungus in the end will depend on your own ability. Wei Xing, you despicable villain, You wanted to use our information to find Shueji from the beginning, didn't you? The woman in red cried, that's why you agreed so easily. You clearly know that we are going to use the snow fungus to save our master. How can you do this? Oh, why can't I? Wei Xing looked indifferently at them who were flustered and exasperated. Anyway, you are going to die here today. For the sake of our previous friendship, I will let you know the truth. Before you came to me, the Zheng family had already come to me. What did you say? Oh, I think you already understand. They gave me a reward and asked me to agree to your request. After the matter is done, the snow fungus will belong to me. In this way I can get both the treasure and double the reward. You are shameless. So what if I am shameless? If you have this strength, why do you need to find me? In this world, only the strong can make the rules. I'll tell you one more thing by the way. The Zheng family has already recalled the people outside and is ready to give you the final blow. In a few days there will be no Hua family in Western Arrival County. What? The Hua family was stunned. The Zheng family had not made any movements recently. How could they avoid their eyes and ears and summon the people outside? You are lying. Impossible. You lied to us. The woman in red shouted and wanted to rush up, but was stopped by the people around her. What do I have to lie to you? The Zheng family has promised us that as long as we annex your Hua family, they will give us 1/3 of the industry. My Wei family can do nothing, just not provide you with help, and we can share the benefits. Wei Xing. The Wei family and the Hua family have always been in a relationship of mutual support. You betrayed the agreement left by your ancestors and betrayed us. The Zheng family can give you benefits now, and in the future they can also give benefits to others to deal with you. The man in white looked at Wei Xing with a resentful expression. When the time comes, whether they deal with us or we eat them, you don't have to worry about the Hua family. Now we will send you on your way. Seeing that you are all my nephews and grandsons, I will let you go happily. Wei Xing waved his hand, and several clansmen below immediately attacked the woman in red and others. The man in white saw that his clansmen were being attacked, but he couldn't go down to save them. He was anxious, the blood in his body surged and he spat out another mouthful of blood. He wiped the blood from his lips and said, "No wonder you asked me who would come together before and said that there could be fewer people. I thought you were worried that more people would drag us down. It turned out that you just asked about our strength so that you could bring people with higher strength than us. Huayu, you are very smart and talented, but you should not live. When you really grow up, the Western Arrival County will be dominated by your Hua family. I can't keep a genius like you." Wei Xing said, condensing his spiritual power, ready to give him the last blow and solve this problem forever. Huayu knew his plan when he saw his moves, and he knew that he could not resist him. However, he did not wait for death directly, and also condensed all his spiritual power, ready to meet his moves. Go to hell. Wei Xing's attack directly broke his defense, and the light from the impact made everyone unable to open their eyes. Huayu. Huayu. The people who were fighting below stopped when they saw this scene. The people of the Hua clan called out his name in despair. Everyone knew that if Wei Xing used this move, he would definitely not be able to survive. They wanted to close their eyes and not see this scene, but their eyes did not listen to them. They opened their eyes wide and watched the light dissipate. Cough. The cough made everyone's nerves collapse. The light dissipated, and a white robe was still fluttering in the wind on the top of the mountain. Alive, still alive. Chapter 1930. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Read book web quick update, no pop-up window, free to read. Everyone saw that Wei Xing's attack hit Huayu. With the power of his move, how could he still be alive? How is this possible? The Wei family members who followed Wei Xing looked at this scene in disbelief. Others didn't know Wei Xing's strength, but they knew. How could Huayu still be alive after his move? The moment Wei Xing saw Huayu, he only had one feeling: impossible. Only after a second glance did he realize that this was not done by Huayu at all, and someone helped him. Space lock. Oh. He looked at the Hua family members and saw the shock and joy on their faces. He knew that this was not done by them. They didn't have a formation master at all. He looked around again. There was no one around, but it didn't mean that there was no one. Furthermore, to be able to hide under his nose, that person's strength was definitely not lower than his. Huayu himself didn't understand how he survived. He was obviously desperate and ready to die. How could Sima Yue no longer hid and appeared in front of everyone? As soon as she appeared, the others also appeared. Who are you? Why did you help? The Wei family members shouted. The Hua family members looked at them gratefully, but there were also doubts in their eyes. They didn't know Yue and the others didn't know their identity and didn't know their purpose. Sima Yue looked at Wei Xing and said honestly, "What I hate the most are dirty people who betray me. For someone like you who is not pleasing to the eye, do you need any other reason to help? Who the hell are you?" Wei Xing looked at Sima Yue. She seemed to be the weakest, but from where she stood, she was the most important. "I'm not as kind as you to solve the doubts of a dying person. I like to see you die without knowing why." Sima Yue smiled brightly, but it made the Wei family members' hearts sink. The more mysterious the other party was, the more uneasy they felt. What were the origins of these people? "Black Shadow, can you handle it alone?" Sima Yue asked. "How many more people do we need? I alone am enough." After saying that, the Black Shadow turned into a black fog and surrounded the Wei family. No! The final screams of the Wei clan members were filled with terror and despair. They didn't know who these people were, but they knew that they were doomed today. The Black Shadow left, and the members of the Wei clan were all reduced to white bones. This move frightened the members of the Hua clan. Those who were more timid felt their legs go soft again. Wei Xing saw that his people were so easily dealt with, and the shadow was so mysterious. Without saying a word, he turned around and ran. "You want to run? Have you asked me?" The Black Shadow sneered and quickly caught up with him, wrapping him in its own black fog. Only a miserable scream was heard, and before the sound could fade away, only a pile of white bones was left. "It's done, Mississippi." The black figure returned to Sima Yue's side and said with a smile. The people of the Hua clan looked at the Black Shadow's harmless appearance. Where was the awe-inspiring aura from before? But it was such a person who dealt with the Wei clan in a few minutes. Sima Yue took 2 steps forward. The people of the Hua clan were so scared that they went soft, and looked at her vigilantly. Sima Yue ignored them and walked towards the snow fungus. The woman in red saw this and became anxious. She ran in front of the snow fungus and opened her hands to stop her. "This snow fungus was given to us first. You can't snatch it from us," Hua Yuan said. She had scared the Hua family members out of their wits. These people were obviously here for Shueji. Wasn't she courting death? Hua Yu flew down from the top of the mountain and pulled Hua Yuan to the side. He shouted, "Yuan, don't make trouble. Uncle. This snow fungus is the only way to save the master. Without this, the master will die." Hua Yuan cried. Hua Yu ignored her words and pulled her behind him. He cupped his hands towards Sima Yu and said, "Thank you, young miss, for your life-saving grace. You can take this snow fungus away, but please spare my life." Sima Yu looked at the unwilling Hua Yuan behind Hua Yu. She saw the tears in her eyes that she stubbornly held back. She asked, "You didn't cry when your lives were hanging by a thread. Why are you crying now? Without your life, you can't get the snow fungus. Even if I die, I've done my best. But watching the snow fungus being taken away by you and being unable to do anything, Hua Yuan said unwillingly, "I am your savior. Shouldn't you be willing to give this to me?" Sima Yue asked. "You saved our lives. We can repay you in other ways, but can you not snatch this from us? We can promise you anything else." Hua Yuan saw that Sima Yue did not immediately come forward to pick the snow fungus and looked at her with hope. Sima Yue tilted her head and thought for a while. She said, "It's not impossible, but I'm afraid you won't give me what I want." "What do you want?" Hua Yuan asked. "Half of your assets," Sima Yue said. The Hua family members fell silent when she said this. Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. "It seems that this is really difficult for you. Then I can only—" "That's not it either." Hua Yu said, "It's just that our situation is a little special. Even if you get half of our assets, it will be a lot of trouble. Why don't you make another request? Or wait until we settle this matter and settle down before we give it to you. If you don't believe us, we can make an oath." Sima Yue stared at the two of them and saw their honest eyes. She said, "Then forget it. I don't want a lot of trouble." Hua Yuan saw that she did not want it and became anxious. She stomped her feet and said, "You can make other requests. As long as we can do it, we will definitely agree to it. As long as you don't want the snow fungus. I know that you want to use the snow fungus to save people, but this snow fungus is very big. I can give you a part of it." Sima Yue said, "I won't give in for anything else." "Really? Thank you. We won't use it all. As long as you save the head of the family, we will give you the rest." Hua Yuan looked at her gratefully. "But we don't know how much we need. Can you come back with us?" Hua Yu asked. "You want us to block the Zheng family's attack for you?" Sima Yue's face darkened. "No. We will deal with the Zheng family. You don't have to come back with us. It's the same waiting outside. Once we cure the head of the family, we will definitely give you the snow fungus. Hua Yu explained, your people are very powerful and our family situation is not optimistic. We won't do anything to harm you. What do you think? Chapter 1931. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Reading book web quick update, no pop-up window free to read. Hua Yu knew that he was going overboard. Since they wanted the snow fungus, it was already good enough to give them a portion. How could they be willing to let them use it first? But they really didn't know how much it would take to cure the patriarch. They had to go back to confirm. After waiting for a while, just when they thought that Sima Yue wouldn't agree, she nodded and said, "It just so happens that we have nothing to do recently. Let's go take a look." The Hua family originally didn't have any hope. They thought that they would die here today. They didn't expect that things would turn around. Not only were they saved, but they also agreed to give them the snow fungus. Hua Yu suffered a serious injury. He was originally using the last of his willpower to hold on. Now that he got her confirmation, the string that was pulled taut loosened and he fainted. Little uncle, Hua Yuan, supported him. The others also surrounded him and took out pills for him to eat. Sima Yue stood at the side. She didn't intend to help. But the Hua family was also rich. The effects of the pills were quite good. After a while, Hua Yu slowly woke up. "Little uncle, how are you?" Hua Yuan saw him open his eyes and asked nervously. "I'm fine. Quickly go and pick the snow fungus. We can go back early to treat the patriarch." Hua Yu's voice was weak, but his breathing was much more stable. Hua Yuan asked someone to support Hua Yu. She took out a jade box and a pair of jade scissors. She cut the flower of the snow fungus and put it in the jade box for Hua Yu to see. "Not bad. You cut it very well." Hua Yu's face showed a trace of a smile. "Then let's go back." "But your injury? It's no problem. Saving the patriarch is more important," Hua Yu said. He wanted to see Sima Yue's opinion, but found that she was taking the root of the snow fungus. Was she going to pluck the feathers from the goose? Not even leaving the root for others? The Hua family followed his gaze and saw Sima Yue, whose hands were full of mud. She had already pulled the root out. Her face showed a gratified smile. He actually wanted to tell her that the root of the snow fungus was useless. But when he saw her directly put the root away, he swallowed the words. Since the other party had already given up the snow fungus to them, what else could they say? If she likes this root, then she can take it. But when she finds out later that it's useless, can she not be so disappointed? What they didn't know was that Sima Yue didn't keep it casually. Instead, she threw it to Little Spirit. Little Spirit said that if she planted it in the Spirit Pagoda, she would be able to grow snow fungus in the future. Hua Yu stood up and said to Sima Yue, "Let's go back now. Is there anything else?" "No. If you can walk, let's go," Sima Yue said. "Then let's hit the road." Hua Yu was the most senior here, and since he insisted on going back, the others naturally had no objections. "By the way, may I know my benefactor's name?" Sima Yue had already turned around and was about to leave. When she heard their question, she answered without turning back. "My name is Sima Yue. The others are my friends." "See Sima Yue? Isn't that?" The members of the Hua family were all stunned. They stood rooted to the ground and did not move. You are the little princess?" Hua Yuan trembled as she looked at her back. Thinking of how rude she was to her just now, she suddenly felt a little scared. "Let's go. I don't have that much time to wait for you." Sima Yue walked to Wu Lingyu and the others. Wu Lingyu naturally held her hand. "Can you break this barrier?" Sima Yue asked. "You don't want to go back the way you came?" Wu Lingyu saw her nod and condensed his spirit energy to hit the barrier, opening a gap. Sima Yue and the others flew up. When the Hua family saw this, they also flew out. After everyone came out, the enchantment automatically closed. "Do you have flying beasts?" Sima Yue asked Hua Yuan. Hua Yuan nodded, "Yes." Sima Yue turned her gaze to Mou and said with a smile, "Mou, call the little red bird out. It's more comfortable to sit on it." "You have so many flying beasts, but you just have to think about my little red bird." Although Mou said this, he still called out the little red bird. When the Hua family heard Sima Yue call out Mou's name, they thought it was someone with the same name. But when they saw the flamboyant little red bird, they were sure that this person was the famous Lord Mou. With Sima Yue's identity in front of them, there was no need to doubt Mou's identity. But they did not expect that the person in the rumors would appear in front of them. Their little hearts almost could not accept it. Letting the Hua family people lead the way, The little red bird brought them slowly to the Western Arrival Prefecture's Western Arrival City. It was not that they were slow, but compared to the little red bird's previous speed, this was considered slow. When they reached the outskirts of Western Arrival City, Mou kept the little red bird away. Otherwise, it would attract a lot of trouble as soon as they entered the city. Little Princess Lord Mou, let Yuan bring you to the largest inn in the city. Hua Yu said. No need, let's go to your residence. Sima Yue said. Then please follow me. In the past few days on the road, Hua Yu's injuries had mostly healed. He looked about the same as usual, but they did not know that he had walked through the gates of hell. Sima Yue and the others followed them to the Hua residence. Their location was in the center of the city, indicating that they still had a high status in Western Arrival City. Hua Yu Yuan, you're finally back. Have you found the snow fungus? A man wearing a blue robe who looked very similar to Hua Yu happened to meet them at the gate and asked anxiously. We found the snow fungus, but something happened in the middle. Hua Yu replied, Big brother, how is the patriarch? He's dying. Since the snow fungus has been found, then quickly send it to them. Hua Xing looked worried, afraid that the situation was not very optimistic. Yuan, you send the snow fungus to the Lord. Hua Yu said. Yes, little uncle. I'll go too. Sima Yue requested. A large part of the snow fungus was hers. If people who didn't know it used it indiscriminately, it would not be good. Hua Yu didn't know what she was thinking, but because of her identity, he let Hua Yuan take her. Hua Xing looked at their backs and asked, Hua Yu, who are these people? Big brother, that's the little princess and Lord Mou. What did you say? Hua Xing was surprised by the news. How did the little princess and Lord Mou come to the clan? A lot of things happened this time. If it weren't for the little princess, we would have been killed by Wei Xing, Hua Yu said. In addition, I have something to tell you about the Wei clan and the Zheng clan. Then let's call the elders. When you were away, something happened in the clan, so we can talk about it together. When Sima Yue saw the patriarch of the Hua clan, she could not help but frown. His appearance seemed a little strange. She glanced at Mou, who also had the same doubts. Chapter 1932. Lu Yin liked her attitude. She wasn't proud, she wasn't satisfied, and she wanted to learn more. As a genius youth, it was rare for her to have such an attitude. There weren't many youths nowadays who could think like that. From today onwards, I will teach you sound attacks. When he said that, he really treated her as his disciple. I can teach you the techniques, but if you want to learn them well, you can only do it through practice. I understand, master. Sima Yue replied. Then let's start from today. I hope that you can be worthy of the bone flute soon. In the following days, Sima Yue spent most of her time learning and practicing. She would occasionally listen to them talk about the outside world. When Wu Lingyu came over, he would discuss formations with her. When she was alone, she would also go to the spirit pagoda to practice other things so that she wouldn't be rusty. Half a year passed peacefully. Including the days before that, she had already spent a year here. Every time she practiced her sound attacks, she would set up a barrier so no one outside knew how her sound attacks were progressing. However, from Lu Yan's satisfied expression, Sima Yue's improvement must be huge. Recently she became famous again. It wasn't something she did, but it was related to her. Everyone's attention was on her again. Qing Kai tortured and killed a female disciple of the alchemy sect. Someone happened to see him preparing to destroy the corpse. Originally, it wasn't a big deal for someone to die in the secret sect. However, the girl he killed was the grand disciple of one of the secret sect's elders. He had personally brought her back. Moreover, it was said that the girl was tortured to death by him. In the end, her face was too horrible to look at. This made everyone in the alchemy sect furious. Qing Kai had a background. His grandfather was an elder and the dead girl's grandmaster was also an elder. Their backgrounds were on par. Therefore, the people from the two sects started to argue. Originally, this had nothing to do with Sima Yue. However, later on, they found out that the reason Qing Kai tortured and killed the girl was because Sima Yue had poisoned him with impotence. He was impotent now, so he did this inhumane thing. Sima Yue's poison was studied by the entire poison sect for half a year without any results. This shocked the entire secret sect. What was the poison sect? It could be said that all the poisons in the world had been taken down by them, but now they were helpless against a mere impotence poison. Someone went to ask Sima Yue why her poison was so powerful. Sima Yue laughed and said, "It's not that my poison is powerful, it's just that they couldn't think of the catalyst. Actually, everyone has this guiding drug." Her words reached the poison sect, but no matter how hard they racked their brains, they could not figure out what she was talking about. Everyone looked at each other. They just couldn't figure out what she meant by, everyone has. Sima Yue felt that her reminder was obvious enough, but those people still didn't think about it. Even Lu Yen was curious and took the opportunity to ask her during the lecture. When he heard the answer, he was embarrassed and regretted asking her that question. How did you think of using this kind of thing? His words were full of disdain. Hee hee. Sima Yue smirked. This kind of person can't be killed, that's why I use this method. But if I don't teach him a lesson, I won't be able to vent my anger. You're pretty bad too. Lu Yen felt a little disgusted when he thought of her method, so he changed the topic. We'll stop here today. Go back and practice well. Yes, master. Sima Yue left, but Lu Yen still felt a little disgusted. He played the zither for a while before he calmed down. He stopped and laughed helplessly. What a bad girl. More than a month later, the poison sect still couldn't think of an antidote. The entire sect was in a bad mood. They wanted to ask Sima Yue but felt that they couldn't bring themselves to do so. Moreover, she didn't leave the sound sect. Even if she wanted to do something, she wouldn't dare to openly visit them. The Beast Tamer sect and the Alchemy sect fought fiercely. The Poison sect's people were scratching their heads all day long. Although the Sound sect's people didn't know what Sima Yue was talking about, they were happy to see them in distress. They used to look down on them. Now they were slapped in the face by their young martial uncle and young martial granduncle. Thinking of their constipated faces, they felt great. Moreover, their young martial uncle and young martial granduncle were such powerful poison masters. They felt proud when they went out. This state was finally broken when a certain elder personally came to the Sound sect. Sima Yue followed the servant to the Sound sect's meeting hall. Lu Yin, Mo Wei and Jianghu were inside talking to two people. Qingshi was talking to another woman inside. Master, Vice Sect Leader, Martial Uncle. Yue, this is the main sect's 5th elder Qingqing, 6th elder He Lan, Beast Tamer sect's Vice Sect Leader, and Poison sect's O Yuling. Lu Yin introduced them to her. She bowed one by one and then stood in place without saying a word. She didn't need to think to know the purpose of these people. They couldn't take it anymore and came to ask her for the antidote. However, she wouldn't take the initiative to ask. Yue, I called you here because of this. Previously you poisoned Qingkai. Their poison sect hasn't developed an antidote for half a year. So today they want to ask you to tell them the antidote. Qingkai is Elder Qingqing's grandson. Since he personally asked, you should give them the antidote. Lu Yen said. Sima Yue was very satisfied with Lu Yan's request. Especially when she saw that most of the people present had changed their expressions but didn't dare to do anything. She was very happy. Elder Qingqing, Vice Sect Leader Qingqing. Actually, if it wasn't for the fact that I had to protect myself, I wouldn't have wanted to poison him. After all, he's your only son for more than 10 generations. Sima Yue said, as a woman, when faced with this kind of situation, she would be frightened. This matter is indeed Qingcai's fault. However, you've poisoned him for so long. You should have calmed down by now. Qingqing said, now please tell us the antidote. Actually, there are many kinds of antidotes. I think it shouldn't be difficult for the poison sect's elders. Sima Yue said. We've thought of 2 kinds of antidotes. However, they didn't have much effect. He didn't even wake up for a few breaths after eating them. He would return to his original state. We've thought for a long time about the antidote that you mentioned, but we still couldn't figure out what it was. Can you tell us? Oh, Yuling wasn't embarrassed about her failure and asked her openly. Didn't I say that it's something that everyone has? Sima Yue said, I've already said it so clearly. How can you not guess it? What is it that everyone has? We've tried hair, nails, etc., but nothing worked. So you should just tell us directly. Chapter 1933. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Read book web, update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Shut up. Before the 7th elder could finish his words, he was scolded by the patriarch. Patriarch. The patriarch's tone was much harsher than before. The 7th elder was shocked and didn't know why he suddenly became so angry. It's our honor that the little princess can live in our house. How can we have ideas about the little princess? The great elder said earnestly. But the 7th elder was reprimanded and felt very wronged. The Hua family was now facing a great enemy. Especially when they heard the news brought back by Hua Yu, they felt that the situation was serious. Since the little princess lived in their house, it meant that they were not unintentional. As long as they could get her help, the crisis of the Hua family would no longer be a crisis. Seventh elder, don't mention this again. The patriarch said sternly, if I hear this again, you don't need to be the seventh elder anymore. Patriarch. Everyone looked at the patriarch of the Hua family in surprise, as if they didn't believe that he would say such a thing. The little princess is the king's most beloved princess, but what qualifications do we have to ask her to help us? Moreover, I heard that this little princess has a strange personality. If we ask her to help us, what if we cause her to be disgusted? As long as she sneezes, our Hua family will disappear forever. The patriarch of the Hua family explained, moreover, the little princess saved Hua Yu and the others and gave us the snow fungus. They are our benefactors. We already feel very guilty that we didn't repay them. How can we have other thoughts? The people in the room were silent. Some people even showed an ashamed expression. It seemed that they also had such thoughts. The patriarch of the Hua family saw that everyone had listened to his words and no longer talked about it. He said, well, this matter will stop here. Let's talk about the situation of the Zheng family these days. When it came to business, everyone restrained their thoughts and no longer thought about what had just happened. Patriarch Wei Xing said that the Zheng family has been gathering people from outside, but we haven't received any news. Hua Yu frowned. If that's the case, I'm afraid that the Zheng family is preparing to give us the final blow. Now that the patriarch is well, it won't be so easy for the Zheng family to deal with us. That's right. They thought that the patriarch would definitely die this time, so they wanted to fight with their backs against the wall, taking advantage of this opportunity to completely eliminate us. However, the clan head is about to recover, and the Zheng clan is no longer a threat. I'm afraid things aren't that optimistic. Hua Yu said worriedly, the Wei family seems to be on good terms with us on the surface, but in reality, they're in cahoots with the Zheng family. Wei Xing thought that we would definitely die, so what he said should be true. He has no reason to lie to us. I also think that since Wei Xing did such a thing, it means that Wei clan has already made its position clear. Now that Wei Xing has not returned, and the patriarch's injuries have healed, the Wei clan will naturally guess that we already know their purpose. If the two of them join forces, it will be very troublesome for us to deal with them. I don't think House Wei will directly fall out with us for the time being. As long as we don't make this matter clear, House Wei will continue to put on an act for a while. We can take advantage of this time to deal with the Zheng family. That's a good idea. We've been blocking the news of your return and the patriarch's recovery. We'll use this to paralyze House Wei first and pretend that we don't know. Then Hua Yuan and I will go to House Wei in a while to ask for forgiveness. We asked Wei Xing to go with us to look for medicinal herbs, but he was unfortunately killed. Although we paid House Wei a reward and said that we don't care if he's alive or dead, we're deeply sorry that they lost a master. Hua Yu said. But both of you are fine if you go like this? Hua Yuan's strength is low and she was far away, so she was not injured. I'll just get some more injuries on my body. It can't be too light or they won't believe it. But then I'm fine. This kind of thing can't be faked or we can't hide it from House Wei. Hua Yu said. You're going to suffer. For the sake of the family, it's okay for me to be injured. However, we have to deal with the Zheng family during this time. Hua Yu said. That's natural. Sima Yue listened to the conversation over there with a faint smile on her face. What's so funny about it? Sima Yue recounted their conversation. It seems that this Hua family is still relatively upright. It's just that they think too simply. Mou took a sip of tea and said lightly. From the news that Qi Feng had received in the past few days, the Zheng family was not just what everyone saw. If they really wanted to fight like this, I'm afraid that they really wouldn't be able to win. If I had known this would happen, I wouldn't have treated Hua Yu's injury. It would have been better to carry him directly to House Wei. Black Shadow didn't understand Hua Yu's idea of hurting himself. I think this person is good. Huan had a good opinion of Hua Yu and felt that he was quite responsible. Anyway, we don't have to do anything. Let's see what will happen later. Sima Yue said, however, we still have to tell the Hua family about the Soul Clan. Otherwise, we won't even know if we're destroyed. That afternoon, Hua Yu and Hua Yuan went to House Wei with the help of the Hua family's great elder and several clansmen. When they saw House Wei, Hua Yu and Hua Yuan cried. Uncle Wei Xing he. Hua Yu choked and knelt in front of House Wei, tears streaming down his face. We already know about Wei Xing. What the hell is going on? Wei family's patriarch went forward to help him up. When he grabbed his hand, he took the opportunity to check his injuries. His pulse was messy and his blood was empty. It seemed that he was really seriously injured. Grandpa Wei, Uncle Wei, he did it for us. Hua Yuan cried sadly. What happened that day? We found snow fungus, but we encountered a very powerful guardian beast. Uncle Wei was torn in half and eaten when he was fighting with it. Little uncle was also seriously injured in the battle. If we hadn't escaped quickly, I'm afraid that he would have. Hua Yuan wiped her tears. After we escaped, we rested for several days before little uncle could barely support himself and come back. Is that really the case? Yes. Hua Yuan nodded. I'm sorry, Grandpa Wei. If it weren't for us, Wei Xing wouldn't have died. And it took me so many days to tell you what happened. I'm really sorry. Did he say anything before he died? No, he left too quickly and didn't have time to say anything. When House Wei heard this, he was secretly relieved. Chapter 1934. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Read book web, update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Although the change in Wei clan's expression was very small, the Hua clan's people were paying attention to him and naturally found his relaxed expression. Wei Xing's matter can't be blamed on you. It's all his own choice. Wei clan's head said sadly, since he accepted your reward, he is naturally responsible for your safety. So you don't have to blame yourself. Even so, we still feel very apologetic for causing the Wei clan to lose a powerhouse. The first elder said, that's why we've brought some gifts to apologize. Great elder, you are too polite. I know that your young master has been looking for a spirit breakthrough pill recently. It just so happens that we got one before. When Wei clan's head heard the 3 words spirit breakthrough pill, his eyes turned green and he said excitedly, is it really a spirit breakthrough pill? The great elder took out a box and handed it to Wei clan's head. Wei clan's head opened the box and saw the black pill lying inside. He pretended to refuse, it's really a spirit breakthrough pill. How can I accept it like this? Wei clan's head, you need this more than us now. Don't refuse. The great elder said. In that case I won't refuse. My Lin is indeed at a critical juncture now. With this spirit breakthrough pill, I will personally come to thank you after advancing. Wei clan's head put away the pill and said gratefully. Wei Xing, who didn't support him much in the clan, died in exchange for a spirit breakthrough pill for his grandson. This Wei Xing's death was worth it. His thoughts turned around but he didn't show it on his face, which made people look even sadder for Wei Xing. Thinking of other things in his heart, he asked, Wei Xing is dead, then have you found snow fungus? Speaking of this, the great elder's eyes turned red. Why, old Hua, the clan head situation is already very bad. Even if we send people now, I'm afraid they won't be able to hold on until they come back. The great elder's tone was sad and desperate. Wei clan's head, I hope you can keep this secret for us. If the Zheng clan knows, I'm afraid. I understand. Wei clan head said sadly, I didn't expect him to be so serious this time. Alas, our 2 families have been friends for generations. If you have any needs, you can come to us. If there's anything we can help with, we will definitely not refuse. The first elder's eyes lit up as if he had been waiting for these words. He bowed to Patriarch Wei and said, with Patriarch Wei's words, we are much more relieved. If we need help in the future, I hope that the Wei clan can help us through this difficult time. Everyone present understood that this obstacle was the Zheng family. Alright, just send someone to inform us when the time comes. Patriarch Wei promised. Many thanks, Patriarch Wei. The great elder and the Hua clan members bowed before leaving the Wei clan. After they left, the young master of the Wei clan, Wei Lin, walked in. Grandpa, are we really going to extend a helping hand to the Hua clan? Wei Lin asked. How is this possible? Patriarch Wei sneered. The Hua family is already an arrow at the end of its flight. It is impossible for them to survive this battle. Moreover, the Zheng clan has already promised us that as long as we don't interfere, they will give us 1/3 of the Hua clan's assets. Then why did you promise them? Not only did they kill Wei Xing, but now they even have the face to ask us for help. Their skin was a little too thick. Why didn't that Hua Yu die outside? Wei Lin said bitterly. He hated Wei Lin since he was a child. This guy was obviously younger than him, but his talent was much higher than his. Now his strength had far surpassed him. The people of Western Arrival County liked to compare the two of them, which made him hate Hua Yu even more. He didn't expect that this time Wei Xing would die, but he would come back with his life. How good would it be if he died outside? Patriarch Wei smiled. I told them to send someone to inform us if something happened. With the arrogance of the Hua clan, they won't send someone to ask for help until the last moment. Since it was already the last moment, who can guarantee that the person who came to inform will come to the Wei clan smoothly? As long as they don't come to our house and we don't see them, naturally we don't have to do anything. This is not a violation of my promise just now. Grandpa is wise. Wei Lin smiled happily when he heard that they wouldn't really help the Hua clan. Look at this. Patriarch Wei took out the spirit breakthrough pill and handed it to Wei Lin. Wei Lin opened it and saw the pill inside. He was so excited that he almost jumped up. Grandpa, is this really the spirit breakthrough pill? Of course, I have personally tested it. Patriarch Wei said, you have been on the verge of advancement for too long. As long as you take this pill, you will definitely be able to break through. Good. I will go into seclusion now. Wei Lin took the pill and didn't want to wait for a moment. He bowed to Patriarch Wei and left in a hurry. With this pill he would definitely be able to advance successfully this time. Hua Yu was helped into the Hua manor. His weak appearance changed. Although his face was still not good, he was not so weak that he needed someone to support him. Hua Yuan was beside him and said with a smile, "Little princess, this pill is really effective. You are only slightly injured, but it looks like it is real." Yes. Hua Yu touched his chest. If I didn't understand my own situation, I am afraid that when I checked myself, I would think that I was about to die. After they had discussed in the morning, Hua Yu was about to get someone to seriously injure himself. At this time, Sima Yue asked a maid to send over a pill, saying that it could make him look like he was seriously injured. Although he didn't know what method Sima Yue used, he believed in her and took the pill without hesitation. He didn't expect the effect to be so good. Little princess is so good to us. We haven't thanked her for what happened last time and she helped us again. Hua Yuan said gratefully. Yes. Meeting the little princess is probably our greatest fortune. Hua Yu sighed. If it wasn't for Sima Yue, they wouldn't have been able to come back and get snow fungus. They wouldn't have been able to save the patriarch, and they wouldn't have known that the Wei clan and the Zheng clan were in cahoots. It was all because of her that they were in such a good situation. They even held the initiative in this matter. At this time, a maid came over and said, "Great elder, young master, little miss, little princess said that she is going to see the patriarch. She asked you to go with her." Sima Yue went to see the patriarch? The three of them were a little surprised. After asking for the location, they hurried over. Hua Su greets little princess, Lord Mou. The patriarch of the Hua clan bowed to the two of them. No need. Mou brought Sima Yue to a seat and sat down. Hua Yu and the others hurried over. Little princess, Lord Mou. It seems that you have done well today. Sima Yue smiled. This is all thanks to little princess's pill. Hua Yu said gratefully. I came today because I have some news to tell you. Chapter 1935. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web, no pop-up windows, free to read. Everyone held their breaths when they heard what she said. They didn't know what she was going to say next. Patriarch Hua, do you know why normal medicine didn't work on your injuries? Sima Yue asked. We were talking about this before. Princess, do you know the reason? Hua Su asked. Your injuries were caused by soul power. Normal pills wouldn't work on it. Sima Yue said. Soul power. Hua Yuan exclaimed. Could it be that the person who hurt Patriarch was from the soul race? That's right. Although the person who hurt Patriarch was wearing the Zheng family's clothes, we have never seen that person before. The great elder said. That's right. Patriarch Hua thought for a while. He had never seen that person before. We should know all the powerful people in the Zheng family. We thought that it was the Zheng family who asked for external help. I didn't expect it to be someone from the soul race. The great elder said. We are not far from the border between the two worlds. However, no one from the soul race has ever come here before. There has never been such a situation. I didn't expect them to be the one behind this. Hua Su's heart sank. If that was the case, then this wasn't a simple family fight. Thank you for telling us, princess. If we didn't know about this and only attacked the Zheng family, we would be caught off guard. Hua Su stood up and bowed to Sima Yue. Princess, do you know how many people from the Soul Society there are in the Zheng family? Hua Yu asked. Quite a few. Sima Yue replied. We have already told my cousin Deja about this. However, based on the current situation, I'm afraid you won't be able to wait for him to send reinforcements. Hua Su heard Sima Yue's words. He thought for a while and understood what she meant. He cupped his hands and said sincerely, Princess, please show us the way out. Previously, they didn't expect Sima Yue to help them. That was why he scolded the seventh elder not to have any ideas about her. However, now that Sima Yue had taken the initiative to look for them and even told them about the soul race, her intentions were clear. Sima Yue tapped 3 fingers on her right hand on the table. Hua Su felt as though every tap was hitting his heart. If it was just the Zheng family, he still had the confidence to deal with them. However, now that the people from the Soul region had interfered, if it wasn't for Sima Yue, they wouldn't even know about this, let alone know how powerful the people from the Soul region were. However, he did not know if Sima Yue would be able to deal with those people. Thinking of this, his heart was beating like a drum. Sima Yue took out a token and said, "Use this to call the Duke over." Hua Su took the token and did not question her words. He was about to call the Duke when the Great Elder stood up and said, "I'll go." Seeing that Sima Yue did not object, Hua Su gave the token to the Great Elder. The Great Elder left and soon arrived at the Duke's mansion. Their relationship with the Duke was not very good before because she, the Duke of Western Arrival, had once taken a fancy to a girl from the Hua family. However, because the girl already had someone she liked, she rejected him in the end. However, he was not a bad person. Even if he was embarrassed because of this, he did not do anything bad to the Hua family. He just walked less and less. When the Great Elder saw him with the token, he was surprised for a while and then followed him to the Hua family. He recognized this token. It was the token of General D, which could directly mobilize all the dukes and city lords. He also heard that the little princess and Mou were there. This was really fast. When Sima Yue saw she saluted and asked him to sit down. She asked, "Dukin, do you know why I asked you to come here today? I have heard from the Great Elder on the way." And she replied, "I didn't expect the Soul clan to appear in the Western Arrival County and collude with the Zheng family. Since you know, I don't need to waste my breath." Sima Yue said, "What's your opinion on this? Originally, this was a matter between the Zheng family and the Hua family, so I didn't intend to intervene. But now that the Zheng family is involved, the Duke's mansion can't stand idly by. However, I want to find the Zheng family directly. I'm afraid they won't admit it and we can't find out the purpose of the Soul clan behind them. So I think we can beat them at their own game and let the Zheng family reveal themselves. We can take the opportunity to find out the person behind the Soul clan." His idea was similar to the result of the discussion between Sima Yue and Hua Su. Sima Yue nodded slightly and said, "This is indeed the safest way. The Zheng family is just a small aristocratic family. Dealing with it is secondary. The main thing is to find out the person behind the Soul clan. Since both of you have the same idea, then I don't think I need to say anything else. You can just plan." "Little princess, you don't care?" And she asked. "I'm not familiar with the matters here and I'm not familiar with the Zheng family, so I won't participate." Sima Yue said. If this matter didn't involve the Soul clan, she might not have taken the lead. "You are the aristocratic families here and also the Duke. You can deal with these matters." When she and the others heard her say this, they thought that she didn't want to interfere and was respecting their rights. Their opinion of her improved. Only those who knew her knew that she always liked to be a hands-off boss. If she didn't have to do something personally, she wouldn't do it. "Then let's discuss the countermeasures now." Hua Su said to the Duke, "Oh right, did the Great Elder tell you that the Wei family is involved in this matter? We didn't have much time on the road, so we only had time to talk about the Soul clan. We haven't heard about the Wei family. Aren't you and the Wei family friends? Are they planning to help you? If that's the case, Duke, you're wrong. The Wei family doesn't want to help us, but has already colluded with the Zheng family." When Hua Su mentioned the Wei family, he was even angrier than when he mentioned the Zheng family. "What's going on?" Hua Yu told she about Wei Xing's matter and what he said. And she listened to him and said, "Then this matter is a little troublesome. I don't know if the Wei family is also involved in the Soul clan's matter. If they were, and they had the Soul clan behind them, then the situation was even more serious. They don't know. The Zheng family didn't tell them this." Sima Yue said. The Hua family saw that Sima Yue was so sure, and knew that she should be right. She was the one who said that the Zheng family had the Soul clan behind them, so she should also know about the Wei family. The plan they made later could also be based on this. However, she said that she was unintentionally involved in this matter. How could she find out about these things so clearly in such a short time? There must be someone they couldn't see investigating. It seemed that the Ghost King really doted on her. Chapter 1936. Remember in 1 second, Love Divided by You? Read book web, updated quickly, no pop-up window, free to read. Since they knew that the Wei family was also involved in this matter, but they didn't know about the soul race. When they discussed the plan later, the Hua family and she didn't think too much about it. If it was just the Hua family, they might think that this was a big problem, but in front of the power of the county king's mansion, the Wei family was not enough. Sima Yue and Mo listened to them make the plan. With the participation of the county king's mansion, this matter became much easier. After their discussion, Sima Yue and Mo returned to the courtyard where they were temporarily staying. How was it? Sima Yue told them about their plan. With the participation of the county king of Western approaches, there should be no problem. I just don't know if we can find out the purpose of the soul race in the end. Wu Lingyu said. I'm not very worried about this. I think the county king of Western approaches is also a capable person. Sima Yue said, what I'm worried about is that the soul race will be in Western approaches county, but they may also go to other places. If other counties are like this, then the soul race is plotting something big. It's useless for you to worry about this. After all, your strength is still limited. However, you have already told Deja about the soul race, so he will naturally think of this. In that case, he will not let this matter go. Perhaps it wouldn't be long before he would rush here as well. These things you can just leave it to him to worry about. Wu Lingyu explained. What you said is true. Sima Yue said, most of the ancient array has been completed. It's better to calculate the rest here. Maybe it will be useful in the future. Okay. Wu Lingyu responded with a smile. Mou, who had been ignored from beginning to end, said weakly, I want to drink the tea you make. You can make it yourself. It's not like the tea you make is not delicious. Sima Yue refused directly. Mou felt stifled and took Huan and Black Shadow to the courtyard to drink tea. He decided not to talk to a certain someone who would forget her friends for the sake of her lover. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu were locked in the room. She rolled her eyes speechlessly at what he said before he left. Today she was going to stay in her room and study the ancient array. His threat was completely useless against her. For the next few days she asked the Scarlet Bees to keep an eye on the situation outside and inform her immediately if there were any abnormalities. She and Wu Lingyu went to the Spirit Pagoda to study the ancient array. After spending 5 months inside, he finally succeeded in studying the ancient array. Although he hadn't fully researched it yet, he could already use it now. It was just that its power wasn't fully unleashed yet. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu had personally experienced it in the Spirit Pagoda. With Wu Lingyu's strength, attainments in array formations and understanding of this array formation, he could barely prevent himself from being injured. If it were anyone else, he would definitely be able to make it out alive. At this time, the Scarlet Bees outside told her that the Zheng family Soul Clan had made a move. Sima Yue asked them to follow carefully and not be discovered, and then left the Spirit Pagoda with Wu Lingyu. Black Shadow saw her coming out and greeted her. Miss, why are you out? Have you finished setting up your ancient array? Sima Yue nodded. It hasn't fully recovered yet, but it can be used now. I'll let you try it another day. Is something the matter? Huan walked over and asked. The Zheng family Soul Clan has made a move. Sima Yue said, the Scarlet Bees sent the latest news, they have already left the city. Should we follow them and take a look? Sima Yue thought for a while. Although she said that she would leave this matter to Enshi and the others, they didn't know that the Soul Clan had made a move. It seemed that they had to go personally. Call Mou, let's go out of the city and take a look. The 4 of them didn't know much about the Soul Clan, but Mou should know more. Mou learned about the situation, and after Yue promised to come back and make tea for him, he went out of the city with them. The spatial passage opened by Huan was very hidden. Sima Yue and the others were hidden in the space, and the Soul Clan didn't sense them. However, when Mou saw the Soul Clan who came to meet him, his eyes darkened. Sima Yue noticed his change and looked at that person. He had a jade face and a peach blossom and looked feminine. He had a perfect body and should have developed flesh and blood. It seemed that his strength wasn't low. Greetings, Commander. The Soul Clan from the Zheng family knelt down and saluted. Suyu stood with his hands behind his back. 17. How is the situation? We have already pulled down all the families in West Arrival City according to Commander's request. The Zheng family is now completely obedient to me. Their people outside have almost all returned, and they will carry out the final attack on the Hua family in the next 2 days. 17 replied. After the Zheng family devours the Hua family, they will also devour the Wei family. Then we will use these people to deal with the Western Arrival County king. Suyu said, we must take down the Western Arrival County. This subordinate will not let Commander down. 17 said. Well, remember, we can't let the Ghost Clan know about what we are involved in. If we ruin the general's plans, your family's lives will be gone. Su Yu's voice was faint, but it sent chills down one's spine. This subordinate will do his best. 17 said. The people I left for you will contact you today. If there is a need, they will help. Su Yu said. This subordinate understands. You may leave. Su Yu opened his mouth and 17 couldn't wait to leave. Every time in front of him, she felt suffocated. Su Yu also left. After everyone left, Sima Yue and the others returned home. Mou, do you know this person? His name is Su Yu, one of the 10 commanders under the Soul Society's great general Kuhi. He is cruel and merciless. He has participated in many battles between the two worlds and killed many of our people. Mou said, and this Su Yu has a very high position in Kuhi's place. Since he appeared here, it is most likely Kuhi's idea. This time, it is indeed the Soul Society's higher-ups who are behind this. From what he said just now, their plan is not only about the Western Arrival County, but the Western Arrival County is a more important part of it. Sima Yue said, it seems that simply dealing with 17 is not enough. We have to get other things out of his mouth. The possibility is not big. Mou shook his head. People like them only know their own mission and don't know the whole plan. It is to prevent this kind of situation. Then there is no other way? Not really. When Deja comes, he will naturally have a way to find out these things. He is the great general. He is already very familiar with these things. He knows the rules on their side and how to find the Soul Clan. Well, then let's wait for cousin to come. 2 days later, the Zheng clan suddenly surrounded the Hua clan. They clamored for the Hua clan to scram out of the Western Arrival County or they would be killed without mercy. Chapter 1937. 1 second to remember, love divided by you? Read book web, update fast, no pop-up window, free to read. Sima Yue and the other 4 were in the courtyard, each with a reclining chair, listening to the dispute outside. Great Elder went out with the Hua family. When he saw the Zheng family, he shouted, Zheng Weiming, what do you want to do? Great Elder, such an obvious thing, do you still need me to say it? Zheng family head Zheng Weiming sneered. Today is the final time for our 2 families to settle the score. If you are willing to leave Western Arrival County with your family, I can let you live. This is our home. Why should we leave? You just want to snatch our family business. Why talk so much nonsense? Hua Yuan said contemptuously. I gave you a chance. Since you are so stubborn, then I don't need to be kind. Zheng Weiming had a hurt look on his face. Your patriarch is no longer here. Can you still resist? Humph, Zheng family, listen to me. Leave no one alive. Sima Yue heard Zheng Weiming's words and laughed. This person was really shameless. Even his words were so perfunctory. She didn't know how they would react when they saw the people behind. Zheng Weiming, who told you that I was dead? Hua Su came out of the gate and saw the shock on the Zheng family's faces. He was very happy. You want me to die? You think too much. Hua Su, how are you still alive? Zheng Weiming was really surprised. They got the news that he was dead. How could he still be alive? Why can't I be alive? With your little strength, you want to take my life. You think too highly of yourself. Hua Su said. Zheng Weiming's expression changed again and again. It was not because of how much trouble it was for him to be alive, but because he was well. Did he already know about the soul race? He glanced at 17 at the side and saw that his face was not very good. He was afraid in his heart. Don't be angry. Even if you are alive, you can't change the ending of your Hua family. We are stronger than you now. Zheng Weiming adjusted his mentality and felt that he was too uneasy just now. So what if Hua Su was alive? Everyone from the Hua clan was still going to die. As long as they were dead, even if they knew about the soul race, they wouldn't be able to tell anyone. Are you talking about the matter of you secretly calling someone back? When Hua Su saw that Zheng Weiming's expression froze again, he was very happy and said proudly, do you think that you're the only ones who secretly call people back and that my Hua family doesn't? Take a look at what these are. As soon as he finished speaking, many people rushed out from the Hua clan. The Zheng clan recognized that these were the people who had been sent to other places. How could this be? The Hua clan had actually called all the people outside back. Then, how could they not have heard anything? You guys hit it so well. Haha, don't worry, don't worry. It's just that you didn't pay attention to us, that's why you're so surprised. Hua Su's words were a slap in the face. If the Zheng clan had not underestimated the Hua clan, how could they not have noticed such a big commotion? Patriarch Zheng, not only do we know about your plans, We also know about your shady dealings with House Wei. Speaking of which, if it wasn't for Wei Xing telling us at that time, we would still be in the dark and wouldn't know that you were calling people back. Wei Xing. The one who couldn't do anything right. So, you all already know about it? Zheng Weiming wanted to strangle the people of House Wei to death. If it weren't for them, how could the Hua clan know about these things and how could they be vigilant? That Wei Xing, even if he didn't die at that time, he would kill him now. Even so, the ending will be the same. Go. Under his order, the people on both sides rushed together, and the spiritual power of the battle impacted the surroundings. Fortunately, the Hua clan opened the protective array in time to save the Hua residents. The loud noise outside did not attract the attention of Yu Yu and the others. The 5 of them were still lying on the armchairs, looking at the intertwining of various underworld skills in the air, and sighed, the Mo clan has just experienced such a thing, and now we're encountering it again. Isn't this the world? You fight for benefits. Wu Lingyu put his hands behind his head, and a faint smile on the corner of his mouth showed that he was in a good mood now. Now, except for the underworld, I'm afraid there's no other peaceful place. Black Shadow also sighed. This is life. Huan preferred the ghost realm. Mou smiled. At their level, these things didn't matter. If it weren't for his family, he would have traveled around the world long ago. Although he often didn't return to the clan now, there was always something in his heart. The Wei clan is here. Sima Yue said. The Wei clan originally did not intend to directly participate in today's matter. They had been sending people to quietly pay attention to the situation here. They didn't expect that instead of waiting for the Hua clan to ask for help, they received news that they knew their purpose. Not only that, their people in the Zheng clan sent back a message. After the Zheng clan dealt with the Hua clan, the next thing they would deal with was the Wei clan, and they didn't intend to fulfill their original promise of giving the Hua clan 1/3 of their property. At this moment, there was a sudden roar from Wei Lin, who was in seclusion. The people guarding outside broke in and saw Wei Lin covered in blood. Breakthrough spirit pill. There's a problem? Wei Lin fainted after saying that. Unexpectedly, not only did he fail to advance but he also became a cripple. At this time, the Wei clan realized that the Hua clan really knew about their plan. Not only that, they even beat them at their own game and crippled their young master. In addition to the news that the Zheng clan received, they suddenly realized that they were already riding a tiger and could not get off. They were in an awkward situation. Now that the Zheng clan and the Hua clan were going to fight, he must stop them. He couldn't let anyone destroy the other, or their Wei clan would be in danger in the future. But when the Wei clan arrived, they were directly pulled into the battle before they could say anything. The 3 clans fought just like that. Sensing the chaotic battle outside, this was probably a situation that no one had expected. Fortunately, and she came not long after and shouted, "How can you come to provoke us? Come, capture all of them." And she mobilized the army and also brought people from the Duke's manor. More than half of the Wei and Zheng clans were dead or injured, and the rest were all exhausted of spirit power and seriously injured. How could they compare to the people from the Duke's manor? Thus, everyone present was captured and brought back to the Duke's manor, and locked in a special dungeon. As soon as 17 entered the dungeon, he realized that something was wrong. After he arrived here, he actually felt that his soul power was faintly suppressed. How was this targeting the Zheng clan and Wei clan? This was simply targeting him. That's not right. How could we have more people dead than the Hua clan? Patriarch, I remember now. Among that group of people from the Hua clan, there are some people I haven't seen at all. They seem to be in the Duke's army. Chapter 1938. Someone from the regional king's manor? How could that be? The regional king's manor had never participated in the family feuds, so how could they be the regional king's men? Everyone didn't believe it except for Zheng Weiming and 17. Although they didn't know what method was used, but the fact that this place could restrain 17's soul power meant that they had prepared beforehand. Patriarch, why did the regional king only capture us and not the Hua family? Someone asked unwillingly. That's right, even if the fight had brought harm to West Arrival City, he should have captured the Hua family too. Why did he only capture us? Could it be that the regional king is actually helping the Hua family? They all thought so, but why? They couldn't figure it out, but there would always be someone to answer their doubts. However, this wait lasted for 3 days. 3 days later, and she came to the prison, and other than Hua Su, there were 3 other people they had never seen before. Regional king, what do you mean by this? Zheng Weiming saw Hua Su and asked with a sullen face, "Are you tied to the Hua family?" You said that you wouldn't participate in the family feuds. I did say that. And she admitted. Then why did you break your promise and help the Hua family? What do you think? And she glanced at him, the meaning was self-evident. I don't need to say it, you should understand. If it weren't for the things you did, would I have gotten involved? The things we did? What did we do? The rest of the Zheng family didn't understand what he meant, and turned to look at their own patriarch. Patriarch, what does the regional king mean by this? Zheng Weiming didn't speak, thinking that since the matter had been exposed, then there was really no way out this time. Not to mention whether and she would spare him, even if and she didn't want his life, the other side wouldn't spare him. From the moment they agreed to cooperate, he wasn't allowed to fail. He had no way out. But how did and she know about such a secretive matter? And when did he find out? The Zheng family saw his pale face and sweating profusely, and immediately understood something. Patriarch? They looked at him in despair, hoping to hear a negative answer. But the silence made their hearts sink into an ice cellar. And she led his men past their cells and walked to the outermost cell. 17 was locked up there. 17 knew from Inshi's eyes that the matter had been exposed. Or rather, from the moment he knew that his strength would be suppressed here, he knew that he had been exposed. He looked at the people outside. He didn't panic, nor was he surprised. He only asked curiously, how did you know? If you don't want anyone to know, then don't do it in the first place. As long as you do it, there will be traces left behind. And she said, that's impossible. You didn't guard against the Spiritas at all. How did you find out? 17 understood their mentality. She always felt that the soul race would only appear in those few places. She never thought that they would appear here. Therefore they should not have discovered it. He looked at Sima Yue and Mou behind him. Did you guys discover it? You should feel honored. And she said, the little princess and Lord Mou personally discovered your conspiracy. Little princess? Lord Mou? The people in the prison looked at them in shock. They were actually the little princess and Mou. What shocked them even more was that the head of the Zheng family was colluding with the Soul Society. No wonder the Duke was involved in this matter. It was not a simple family dispute. You are the little princess that everyone in the ghost world is talking about? 17 looked at Sima Yue. She didn't expect her to be so young. I'm unlucky to meet you guys here. If it wasn't for them, everything would be different. How would it be different? With or without us, your conspiracy wouldn't have succeeded. Sima Yue sneered. There are many talents in the ghost world. Don't think that you can get anything from us. 17 laughed and didn't argue with her. When the commander's plan succeeded, let's see if the ghost clan could still laugh. You're thinking about the Ruin Valley? Sima Yue said, you think that his plan is perfect. I don't know what you're talking about. 17 straightened her neck and refused to admit it. You're afraid that the Ruin Valley will know that you said it? Sima Yue asked. When you guys met outside the city, you were really afraid of him. How did you know? I saw it. Sima Yue said. Do you think that no one saw you when you left the city? How is that possible? If you guys were here, how could the commander not know? With the Ruin Valley's ability, how could they discover us? Sima Yue said in disdain. Even if he came, he wouldn't be able to save you. 17's heart sank. She didn't expect Sima Yue to know everything. I won't tell you anything. Don't think of getting anything from me. He said as he prepared to self-destruct. Piff. A short knife pierced through his chest and nailed into the wall behind him. He slowly lowered his head and saw the huge hole in his chest. His lips curled into a smile. He didn't expect to die so easily. It seemed like he didn't need to self-destruct. It was good that he was dead. They wouldn't be able to ask anything and he wouldn't be able to see anything in the future. Bang, he fell to the ground. At the last moment, his consciousness was even clearer. He saw Sima Yue suddenly appear beside him. The door to the prison was not open. He saw her squatting beside him. Her slender fingers grabbed his shoulders and lifted him up. He heard her say in his ear, do you think that everything will end when you die? That I won't know anything? You want? What I want is for you to know a little more when you're on the verge of death. Sima Yue finished speaking and sent her consciousness into his sea of consciousness. She quickly read his memories. He felt her invasion but he couldn't stop it. He didn't have the strength to stop it. After she left his mind, he felt his body being thrown to the ground like a rag. Her cold voice rang in his ear, you've already received the news. Get rid of the corpse. He wasn't willing. He didn't do anything and didn't say anything. She actually found out. If the Ruin Valley knew, how would he punish his clansmen? Forget it. From the moment they pushed him to the Ruin Valley, their lives were already tied to his. This wasn't his choice but theirs. Sima Yue and Mou walked out. The Zheng and Wei family members didn't dare to make a sound. They were afraid that they would end up like 17. Little princess, how should we deal with these people? And she asked a question that made their hearts hang. Chapter 1939. Sima Yue looked at the people in the prison and said to Enshi, deal with those who collude with foreign enemies. As for those who want to take advantage of the situation and add insult to injury, lock them up as a warning to others. She didn't know what the consequences of colluding with foreign enemies were, but there was only death left. It depended on whether the death was comfortable or painful. When the Wei family heard her words, they heaved a sigh of relief. As long as they were alive, it was fine. Where there's life, there's hope. But they thought too lightly. During the time they were imprisoned, the Hua family digested all of the Zheng family's property and attacked the Wei family's property. When the backbone of the Wei family was released from prison, the Wei family was only an empty shell. And the Hua family took over the Zheng family's property and the Wei family's property. Their economic strength soared. With more money, there were more cultivation pills and other things. Their overall strength increased by a lot. In comparison, the gap between the two families was even greater. In addition, their reputation was bad. Under the intentional exclusion of the Hua family, they became worse and worse. They couldn't even be ranked. Of course, this was all in the future. Sima Yue didn't think that her decision today would affect the outcome of the three families. After they left the prison, Huasu asked, Little princess, did you find anything? Do you need us to do anything? Not for the time being. The Hua family can take care of their own affairs. If there's a need, I'll look for you again. Sima Yue refused. Huasu knew that she refused, but the Hua family was really busy now. The Zheng family and Wei family still had a lot of follow-up matters to deal with. So he didn't delay any longer. He bid farewell and left. Let's go somewhere where we can talk, Sima Yue said to Enshi. And she understood that she must have seen something important in 17's memory that couldn't be said outside. So she took them to her study. Royal Prince, and their plan is to deal with the Hua family first, take over the Hua family's property, then deal with the Wei family and let Jing Weiming deal with you. Sima Yue said. Deal with me? Shilai County isn't very important. Why did they choose here? And she didn't understand. Maybe it's because your place isn't important, so they want to make a breakthrough here. Sima Yue said, not only here but also some other places. I think their goal is to break these places one by one, and then connect them together and break the border. Other than here, where are the other places? 17 doesn't know this either. They are all independent of each other, in order to prevent the failure of one place from affecting the other places. Sima Yue continued, but I think since this is the method used here, it should be the same in other places. And there should be some clues. Then I'll get someone to check it immediately. And she was about to get up when Sima Yue stopped her. You can go later. Sima Yue said, have you caught the people I asked you to catch these 2 days? I caught all of them, but it's useless to interrogate them. They won't say anything. And she said, I'm afraid we still need the little princess to do it. Her previous move really shocked him. With this, there was no need to worry about the interrogation not getting any results. I got some uncertain news from 17. I need to verify it with those people. But those people are not as high as 17. Will they know? Let's try. Sima Yue wasn't sure either. Those people didn't follow them. Maybe they know something. Then I'll get people to bring them up. And she went out and ordered people to bring those soul race people back. At the same time, he also ordered people to investigate where similar things happened. Soon, those soul clansmen who had been tortured half to death were brought up. In order not to scare Sima Yue, and she specially asked people to change their clothes. Sima Yue walked over. Seeing that their mental strength was almost tortured, she didn't kill them. She directly probed with her divine consciousness. 9 people came down. The amount of information was a bit too much. Her mental strength was also a bit too much. She didn't look well. Wu Lingyu and the others didn't disturb her. They let her slowly sort out the information and let her rest. After a while, Sima Yue opened her eyes and said, we don't need these people. No need. They would be killed if they were dragged down. And she waved his hand. Immediately, the guards came up and dragged the people of the Soul clan away. How is it? Mou asked. There's one person whose memory overlaps with 17. Sima Yue said, In 17's memory he knows that someone came from the ghost realm. I extracted a place from those people's memories. Immortal Witchcraft County. You think it's Immortal Witchcraft County? That person was originally sent to Immortal Witchcraft County, but the higher-ups let him join here temporarily. So I think there should be people of the Soul Clan in Immortal Witchcraft County. Sima Yue guessed. But I have a good relationship with the Immortal Witchcraft County's County King. A few days ago I asked him if there was something like the Hua and Zheng family. He said there wasn't. And she said. But I think that there should be something wrong with the city of the Ghost Realm in the Soul Clan's memory. Since you're not sure, why don't we go and take a look? Wu Lingyu suggested. Sima Yue thought about it and replied, okay, we'll go first. County King and cousin and the others will be here soon. You can tell him that we're going to Immortal Witchcraft County. Okay. And she replied. Seeing Sima Yue stand up, he asked, are you going now? You've already controlled the situation here. The sooner we go to Immortal Witchcraft County, the sooner we can confirm the situation. Sima Yue said. Then little princess, please use my teleportation array here. You can go there directly. Okay, then I'll trouble you. Little princess, you're too serious. Please come with me. And she brought them to a courtyard at the back. There was his private teleportation array here that could go to the nearby county. Sima Yue contacted Black Shadow and Huan. The two arrived here in a few breaths. And she saw their strength and was slightly surprised. These two were so powerful. The five of them came to the teleportation array. He opened the array and watched them leave. Not long after they disappeared, a group of people suddenly broke into his mansion. Where's the little princess? Han Feng asked with a dark face. He felt that she went to a very far place. Although he could confirm the location, it was not as fast as asking directly. And she immediately recognized that they were the Ghost King's people. He quickly bowed and said, the little princess went to Immortal Witchcraft County. The little princess suddenly went to such a far place. Han Shan saw Anshi's teleportation array and said, use this to send us there. Chapter 1940. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. When Sima Yue and the others came out of the teleportation array, the Immortal Witch State's Duke Pai Ling was already waiting for them with her people. Greetings little princess, Lord Mou. When Sima Yue came out, she was slightly surprised to see a woman in a water-green dress leading a group of people to greet her. She didn't expect the Immortal Witch State's Duke to be a woman. Ling her. Mou unexpectedly nodded towards Pai Ling. This was rare in the past. Sima Yue looked at Mou with surprise. Did this guy like this kind of beauty? Ling is my good friend's daughter. Mou understood her gaze and explained. So she's your friend's daughter. Sima Yue smiled. Duke Ling, did you get news from Dukin? Yes. Pai Ling looked like a very gentle woman. When she smiled, she gave people the feeling of being wrapped in warm water. It made people feel very comfortable. Seeing that there were only a few of them, she asked, didn't you say there were still some people? There are still people? Only us, no one else. They said they were the princess's bodyguards? Bodyguards? Sima Yue was startled and immediately understood. But before she could say anything, the array lit up again. Han Shan, Han Feng and the others appeared on the array. Sima Yue revealed an expression that said she expected it. She looked at them and didn't say anything. Little princess. Han Shan, Han Feng and the others bowed. Since you're all here, then stay in the Duke's manor. I'll instruct you when I have something else. Sima Yue ordered. Yes, little princess. Han Shan and Han Feng heaved a sigh of relief. It was good that the little princess wasn't angry. Little princess, we've already prepared a place to stay. Why don't you and Lord Mou take a look first? If it's not good, we'll change. Pai Ling said respectfully. The place to stay is fine. Let's talk about business first. Sima Yue said. Pai Ling's smile remained unchanged. She nodded and led them to the meeting room. After arriving there, Pai Ling had everyone sneak out and set up a barrier to prevent eavesdropping. Little princess, and she told me about the discovery of the soul race. He even asked me if anything strange had happened here. Pai Ling's smile faded a little when she talked about business, but her aura didn't change. However, it could be seen that she was very serious. Sima Yue told him about her discovery of 17 and the other members of the soul race. Then she told him her guess about the Immortal Witch County. Princess, do you think that they will attack the Immortal Witch County? Pai Ling asked. I think they have already done it. Sima Yue said confidently, is there any trouble in the Immortal Witch County? Pai Ling shook her head slightly. I've already confirmed with the various cities. There hasn't been any unrest in the past few years. No. Sima Yue frowned slightly. In that person's memory, they first sent him to the Immortal Witch County. Then they changed it to the Western Arrival County. Since the Soul Race mentioned the Immortal Witch County, there must be Soul Race members here. I'll send people to investigate, Pai Ling said. I think their main target is still the Immortal Witch City. Send more people to check if there are any strange phenomena, Sima Yue said. Okay. I'll give the order now. We'll be staying in the biggest inn during this period. If there's anything, I'll have to trouble you to inform us, Sima Yue said. Little princess, you're not staying in the county king's manor? Pai Ling said in surprise. No, we'll be staying outside. Why? Pai Ling looked at Mou. Did the little princess think that the county king's manor wasn't good enough? If you want to find out some information, it's more convenient outside. Inns, taverns, and tea houses are the places where information travels the fastest, Mou explained. Pai Ling heaved a sigh of relief. So it was like that. It wasn't that they disliked this place for not being good enough. That was good. This little princess was the Spirit King's most beloved granddaughter. It was said that he loved her as much as her mother, Yukuluo. When her mother was traveling in the spirit world, she didn't receive the treatment of being protected by the cold winds of Mount Han. She was afraid that if she made this little ancestor unhappy and caused a ruckus in the Immortal Witch County, she wouldn't be able to bear it. Yes. Sima Yue smiled at her. The reason we're here is to look for abnormal places. It'll be more convenient to stay outside. We won't be leaving from the main entrance later. If others see us, they won't know that we're here to investigate. Of course, I'll leave this fellow that many people know here with you. What? No. Pai Ling and Mou spoke at the same time. Mou looked at her with resentment. Sima Yue shook her finger. Objection overruled. Who asked your face to be so famous in the spirit world? Once you appear, won't everyone know? If the people of the spirit clan restrain themselves because of this, what can we find? But I'll be bored alone. The resentment on Mou's face turned into grief, with a trace of pity and coquettishness. Pai Ling widened her eyes and looked at Mou in disbelief. Did she hear wrongly? He was coquettishness? This was Mou who was as famous as Yama. This old fart actually knew how to coquettishness. Was day and night reversed, or was the world in chaos? Even if it was, it couldn't be compared to the impact just now. In the past, every time she followed her father and saw Mou, she felt that he was so high and mighty, untouchable. He was obviously from the spirit clan, but he had a trace of lazy immortal aura. She had always heard her father say that he was neither human nor ghost, neither immortal nor immortal, and was hopeless. But she always felt that her father was jealous of Mou's good looks. Now he actually spoke to Sima Yue like that. This simply overturned all her previous knowledge. If you're bored, just find something to do. Drink tea, chat as long as you don't appear in front of others. You're so heartless, Mou protested. Alright, since things are settled, we should go out and find a place to stay. Where's the biggest inn? A certain someone who was ignored. Sima Yue finally left, leaving Mou, Hans Han, and Han Feng in the Duke's manor. She and Wu Lingyu left through space and appeared in a remote alley. They followed Pai Ling's instructions and found the biggest inn. This time they didn't rent the entire courtyard but stayed in the front room. Although it was very noisy, as long as they paid a little attention, they could hear the conversations in the lobby below. Occasionally they would walk around the streets, sit in the tea house and listen to the conversations of those people. After walking around for a few days, they finally got some useful information in a small tea house. Chapter 1941. 1 Second to Remember, Love Divided by You? Reading book web no pop-up window free to read. After wandering around for a few days, drinking a bellyful of tea and listening to the gossip of the Zhang and Li families, Sima Yue even wanted to complain. Weren't these people cultivators? Why were they always paying attention to other people's trivial matters? Fortunately, they were drinking tea made by her, which was also a kind of enjoyment. On this day when they passed by a small tea house, Sima Yue suddenly had an idea. Since they couldn't get any news from the big tea houses, they could try a small tea house. People of different levels might bring different news on their behalf. They chose the most remote location, but even so, they attracted a lot of attention. Seeing that they didn't have any intention to talk, no one went to provoke them. If they were some big shot, it would be troublesome to provoke them. Sima Yue and the others ordered tea, but they didn't drink it after it was served. They pretended to take a few sips. At first, those people didn't talk about anything special, and the people drinking tea also came and went. When they were about to leave without any results, four people in ordinary clothes came in. The moment they came in, they called for the waiter to serve tea and snacks, and then they started chatting. What's wrong with our village? Those people have become strange recently, as if they've forgotten who they are. But when we talk to them they can still answer, but it feels like they've changed completely. It's very scary. Our village is the same. When we see those people's eyes we get goosebumps. You guys have it too. Yes, my neighbor next door is Urgu. He used to be an honest person, but now he's gone missing all day. When we see him occasionally we feel strange. We thought that we're not the same person, but when we talk to him, we remember everything from the past. Maybe something happened to him suddenly. Don't think so much. Alright, speaking of which, why haven't I seen your brother? My brother has been infatuated with the head hostess of Xiangchuan brothel recently. The person who spoke said, you also know that our family's property was saved up when our parents went to the city. Now that guy has squandered it all. It's only been a month. It can't be, right? How could they let your younger brother into a place like the Fragrant Spring brothel? It's not something people like us can come into contact with. That's what I thought at first. However, I followed my younger brother and saw that he had indeed entered Xiangchun brothel. The procuress at the entrance also said that Miss Chun Ming had been waiting for him for a long time. What the F***ck, are you serious? Is your brother really that close to Miss Chun Ming? Tell him when he will bring me to meet her. It is said that this Lady Chun Ming is as beautiful as a fairy. Her skin is as smooth as cream. That smooth skin. That's enough. Pay attention to your appearance. The elder brother glared at the man. Cough cough. He had forgotten his place. It's not like I haven't seen her before. That person smiled. But how did your brother catch Miss Chun Ming's eye? Don't pay attention to Miss Chun Ming. With her brother in this state, I'm afraid something bad is going to happen. What I find strange is, why would Chun Li choose his younger brother? Xiangchun brothel was the largest brothel and Chun Ming was the star of the brothel. Those who went to look for her were all high-ranking officials, nobles and children of aristocratic families. How could she possibly fancy commoners like them? I'm not very clear about this either. It seems that Miss Chun Ming chose him herself. However, the procuress didn't disagree. You don't have to worry too much. Aren't you all broke? When the time comes, naturally you won't let him enter Xiangchun brothel. I hope so. After that, they chatted about other things and didn't talk about the matter just now. Sima Yue and the others waited for a while, then paid the bill and left. When they left, she released some scarlet bees. Lingyu, do you think that this is the work of the spiritlings? Sima Yue asked. I think that the county king and the others should have focused their attention on the various cities and didn't think about the small villages and towns outside. Moreover, with the matter in West Arrival City, the focus would be on the disputes among the aristocratic families. That's why there hasn't been any news. Wu Lingyu said. So, you think that what they said is related to the spiritlings? Black Shadow asked. I think it's most likely. Huan said. Whether it's true or not, we'll know later. Wu Lingyu said with a smile. Then what should we do now? Sima Yue asked while rubbing her chin. Looking at your expression, are you thinking of doing something bad? Black Shadow asked excitedly. Huan slapped him on the head. What are you so excited about? Of course I'm excited. Miss is definitely going to do something bad. Black Shadow said with a grin. Sima Yue looked at Wu Lingyu and held his arm. She looked at him with a smile. Lingyu, shall I take you to the land of warmth today? I like your land of warmth. Wu Lingyu glanced at her meaningfully. You're thinking too much. Sima Yue patted his arm. I'll take you to Xiangchun brothel tonight to see the beauties. What do you think? Am I good to you? Not many girlfriends are willing to give you this kind of treatment. I like a different kind of good. Wu Lingyu said. Miss, we're going to Xiangchun brothel tonight, really? Black Shadow looked at her with shining eyes. Ayaya, a brothel in the ghost realm? We haven't seen it yet. Are you two going? If you don't go, Miss and I will go alone. What do you think? Huan glanced at him with a look that said, you dare to try. In the evening, 4 well-dressed men appeared at the door of Xiangchun brothel. When the brothel keeper, who was greeting the guests, saw them, she immediately waved her handkerchief to greet them, her face full of wrinkles like a chrysanthemum. Why is this brothel keeper so ugly? Black Shadow shrank behind Sima Yue and poked his head out with a look of fear. Sima Yue also twitched the corner of her mouth. This brothel keeper's appearance was really indescribable. The other women at the door were so beautiful and moving, so why was this brothel keeper? Was it to set off the beauty of those people? Is this the first time the four of you are here? The brothel keeper came up and asked with a smile. Yes, I heard that there are a lot of beautiful women in Xiangchun brothel, so I passed by here and specially came to take a look. Sima Yue smelled the perfume on her body and frowned slightly. Wu Lingyu directly took 2 steps back, her eyes full of undisguised disgust. Oh haha, half of the men in Immortal Witch's City will come to our Xiangchun brothel. We have the most beautiful women here and the best service. The brothel keeper looked at the 4 of them with a smile. The eyes of the little brother in front of her lit up, his face full of curiosity. Although the person behind him was the same, he seemed to be obsessed with cleanliness. The person next to him didn't seem to be very willing to come here. He was probably dragged here by the young man in front of her. There was another man a little further away. He should be a guard. It looked like a very ordinary combination. Chapter 1942. Everyone welcomes your presence. Please remember this website's address so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor. Sima Yue pretended not to notice the brothel keeper's gaze and looked at the girls outside Xiangchun brothel with interest. Hey, that girl is not bad. Black Shadow, look, that chest, that waist and that butt, tsk. One look and I can tell that she's an ecstatic girl. She touched her chin and was almost drooling. Sima Yue looked at this and that and was very interested. Young master, you're right, the girls here are much prettier than the ones we have. The Black Shadow followed her and looked at this and that and was very excited. Seeing Sima Yue like this, the brothel keeper went up to her and said, Young master, is this your first time here? Yes. Sima Yue nodded. I've never been to a brothel before. Don't hold me back here, I want to go in and see the girls inside. I have plenty of money. Hee, young master, don't be anxious, no one knows the girls of Xiangchun brothel better than me. The brothel keeper laughed and said, Tell me what kind of girl you want, I'll arrange it for you. Really? Sima Yue's eyes lit up. I want to see your top hostess. I heard that the top hostess is the most beautiful and charming, I want to see her. You want to see Chuning? Not everyone can see our family's Chuning. The brothel keeper rubbed 3 of her fingers together and Sima Yue understood immediately. She glanced at the Black Shadow and the Black Shadow immediately took out a bag of crystals and placed it in the brothel keeper's hand. My young master said that we don't lack money. The Black Shadow said, Quickly ask your top hostess to come and fetch my young master. The brothel keeper saw the top-grade crystals in the bag and the smile on her face became even brighter, but she did not relent. Our Chuning is not free today, everything has been arranged for tonight. Why don't you take a look at our 4 top hostesses? They're all the best. No way. I want Miss Chuning. Sima Yue pouted and looked like a young master who had lost his temper. My young master always gets whatever he wants, you're the top hostess and yet you're so arrogant. The Black Shadow said. This is the rule of Xiangchun brothel, since it has been arranged, we can't be irresponsible for the other guests, right? Other guests? Are they as noble as our young master? Are they as rich as our young master? Our young master is Wang. Black Shadow. Huan yelled, interrupting Black Shadow's words. But this would only make it more obvious. But our customers come first. The brothel keeper said, Young master, don't be angry. You've seen our 4 most beautiful actresses, so you'll feel that this trip was not in vain. I want the top hostess. Only the top hostess, that's my that. Sima Yu insisted, If you don't let me see Miss Chun Ming today, I will get Duke Ling to tear down your fragrant spring brothel. This, mother? Just as the brothel keeper was in a dilemma, a servant girl walked out and bowed to her. Miss asked me to bring the young masters in. What about her guests? They've already left, the servant girl replied and then said to Sima Yue, Young master, please. That's more like it. Sima Yue waved her hand. Let's go, Black Shadow, let's go see if the top hostess is as beautiful as the rumors say. Sima Yue walked in front, Wu Lingyu walked beside her, and Black Shadow and Huan followed behind. It looked like 2 brothers with guards. The servant girl brought them to a small independent attic, which was very different from the noise outside. It was very quiet here. Also, the decorations were very light, without the feasting and debauchery in front. Those who didn't know would think that they were in the boudoir of a young lady from a noble family. Young master, please wait here. Miss Yang will be here soon. The servant girl bowed and left. Sima Yue shouted at her back to hurry up. When she turned around, she saw the three of them staring at her. She touched her nose. "Why are you looking at me like that? I didn't expect young master's acting skills to be so good." Black Shadow looked at her with admiration. "I haven't eaten pork before, but I've seen a pig run." Sima Yue lifted her chin and said proudly, "You've eaten pork before. You even cooked it for us before." Black Shadow said, "Everyone, this is a saying. Do you understand the saying?" Sima Yue knocked on his head and then sat down at the table. "I haven't pretended to be a man for a long time. This illusion ring is finally useful again." Wu Lingyu took out a tea set and started to brew tea. Sima Yue sat beside him and stared at his hand. When Chun Rua came over, a pot of tea had just been brewed. "This servant greets the young masters." She bowed to them one by one. Sima Yue looked over and saw a delicate girl standing at the door. Her appearance made her feel as if she had seen a girl from Jiangnan. "Wow, she's really beautiful." Black Shadow opened his mouth wide and his eyes were filled with hearts. Even Huan raised his eyebrows. Only Wu Lingyu sat there. After glancing at her, he continued to focus on pouring tea for Sima Yue. He pushed the cup in front of her and said softly, "Drink tea." Sima Yue took a sip of tea and waved at Chun Rua, saying, "You're the top hostess of Xiangchuan House?" "Yes, this servant is Chun Rua." Chun Rua's voice was so soft that it made people's hearts soften. Come, sit next to me." Sima Yue patted the empty space on the other side. Her eyes were almost glued to Chun Rua. When she sat down, she immediately grabbed her hand. "Young master, this servant will play a song for you?" Chun Rua smiled at her. When Sima Yue saw her smile, she was completely infatuated and said happily, Good. Chun Rua took the opportunity to pull her hand out of her hand and went to the other side of the room where a guzheng was placed. Chun Rua smiled at Sima Yue and began to play. It had to be said that her guzheng playing was really good. Even she was mesmerized by it. Sima Yue looked at Chun Rua in a daze. She had always felt that a beautiful woman playing guzheng was pleasing to the eyes, ears, and heart. After the song ended, Chun Rua stood up and thanked him, then said, "Young master, we can only stop here tonight." "What?" "Because it's time. The rest of the time is reserved for other people. Just now the previous guests left at the last minute, so they had time to see you. In a while the next guests will come. I'm sure you don't want to make things difficult for this servant." "Of course I don't want to. Then I want to come later too. I want to book the whole place. You're not allowed to receive any other guests," Sima Yue said heroically. Chun Rua's smile deepened and replied, "This servant can't do it tonight. From tomorrow onwards I'll only receive you." "Okay, then it's settled." Sima Yue dawdled for a while before leaving with her people. After she left, the smile on Chun Rua's face faded. The procuress walked in and looked at her nervously. Chapter 1943. Everyone welcomes you. Please remember the address of this website, so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor anytime. If other people were here, they would notice that the relationship between the two was not normal. A madam was actually afraid of the top hostess. "Mother, cancel the rest of the arrangements," Chun Rua said. "What? The people who made reservations are all." "Mother, are you questioning my decision?" Chun Rua sat in front of the zither and looked at the madam with a gentle gaze, but the madam felt her back go numb. "I don't dare." The madam immediately admitted her mistake. "Then go and make the arrangements." "It's not difficult for you," Chun-Li said with a smile. "Mistress, may I ask why you gave up so many people just for the 4 people tonight? Is it worth it?" the madam asked. Chun Rua was not angry this time. She lowered her head and started playing the zither. After the song ended, she faintly said, "It's not 4 people, it's 1. That young master?" "That's right." Chun Rua supported her chin with her left hand and casually played the zither with her right hand. She smiled and said, "His soul is delicious and seems to have some special power. He alone can be compared to all the trash. But that person's status seems to be high. Should we just snatch him? Have you forgotten the rules of our sect? The soul must be given willingly to be tasty. It's not good if the soul is damaged." Chun Rua muttered. "Then why didn't mistress keep them for a while longer?" the madam asked. "If it's so easy to eat, why would they cherish it? What is not eaten is the best. Do you still need me to teach you the bad habits of men?" "Yes." "Go and make the arrangements. If you question my decision again, you will be punished yourself." "Yes, mistress." "Go." The madam left the loft. Behind her was a melodious zither sound. She raised her head to look at the moon and felt that the night was exceptionally cold. Sima Yue and the rest came out of the spring brothel and directly returned to the inn. The people behind them only left after confirming their location. Sima Yue and Wu Lingyu stood in front of the window. Outside was the bustling street. Those people have left. It seems like they're only here to confirm where we're staying. Wu Lingyu said. Don't worry about it. Sima Yue said, is the Black Shadow still unconscious? No, that useless guy, it seems that we need to call him back for training again. Huan said with a sullen face. Don't be angry. That Chunhua's music was indeed abnormal. Even I was dazed for a moment at that time. It should be a sound attack. Sima Yue said. It's indeed a sound attack and it's the low-class kind, Wu Lingyu said. The sound of the zither can bewitch people's minds and make people fall in love with her. Judging from the way she played the zither, today's performance was only average. I'm afraid there are others who are even better. Now, most people can confuse people's minds. If it's more powerful, I'm afraid that the people listening to it will no longer be themselves, Wu Lingyu said. Sound attacks are indeed more troublesome. Huan agreed. Ah, Sima Yue suddenly screamed, startling the two of them. Before they could ask her what was wrong, they saw her pinching Wu Lingyu's arm and shouting, You looked at her, didn't you? You're still pretending not to look at her. Did you secretly look at her? I don't want to scold you, but if you want to look, then look openly. Since I brought you here, I won't mind you looking. Why are you sneaking around? I'm not jealous or anything. Wu Lingyu was pinched by her. When he heard her words and saw her bared teeth, he was speechless. Not jealous? Then what was she doing? Why was she pinching his arm? I just took a look when I noticed that there was something wrong with the sound of the zither, and I was looking at her fingers. He explained. Really? Sima Yue blinked her big eyes. Of course. If you really looked at it, I won't say anything. A certain someone was smiling very happily now. His expression just now was not good. She seemed to feel that she had pinched him wrongly just now. She reached out to touch his arm and smiled carefully. You think this is okay? Wu Lingyu raised his eyebrows. Then what? Of course, this. Before she finished speaking, her thin lips were already on his. A certain someone's head was held and he could not dodge. There's someone else. Sima Yue protested softly. Where else is there? Wu Lingyu let go of her. She looked at Huan's position just now. There was no one there. From the moment she started pinching Wu Lingyu, Huan had already left. Continue to compensate me? Oh you, the moonlight was shy. The next day, Sima Yue passed the news to Pai Ling. There was something strange outside the city as well as the strangeness of Xiangchuan brothel. When Pai Ling received the news, she happened to be with Mou. The village outside the city? I really didn't send anyone to pay attention to this. Pai Ling said self-reproachfully. Those people from the Soul clan started from there. This itself is very surprising. Mou said, I just don't know what they used those for. How did they change them? I'll send someone to investigate now. Pai Ling said. There's no hurry. Your people know everyone in the county. Once you go, you'll alert the enemy. Mou said, I think she should have already gone to investigate. Pai Ling continued to read. Sure enough, Sima Yue asked her to hold back and said that she had already gone to investigate. She also talked about Xiangchuan brothel. Mou, who was at the side, exploded when he heard this. What did she say? She went to Xiangchuan brothel? A woman actually dared to go to Xiangchuan brothel. As expected, she can do anything. That guy Wu Lingyu didn't even know to stop her. Wu Lingyu also went. Pai Ling said, she said that she found Xiangchuan brothel very abnormal and asked us to keep an eye on the people and guests in the brothel. I understand keeping an eye on the people in the brothel, but why do you even want to check the guests? She must have found out that there's something abnormal about the guests. Since they can change the villagers, it's possible that they can change the guests as well. Or perhaps she felt that these people might do something. Xiangchuan brothel welcomes guests every day. There's a lot of people coming in and out. Plus, she's not familiar with the people here, so she asked you to do these things. Mou guessed. He really understood Sima Yue and immediately understood what she meant. Okay, I'll arrange it immediately. Pai Ling replied. Tell them to be careful. I know. In the evening, Sima Yue went to Xiangchuan brothel again. Chun Jie was already waiting. When she saw her, Sima Yue immediately walked over and pulled her hand. She looked at her with a lecherous look and said, People say that a day without seeing you feels like 3 years. Why do I feel that a day without seeing you feels like 100 years? Wu Lingyu was 2 steps behind her. When he saw her grabbing someone else's hand, he went forward and pulled her hand back. He scolded, "What are you doing?" Sima Yue pouted. "What's wrong with this? This is Xianchuan brothel." When she saw Wu Lingyu's sharp glare, she shrank her neck and stopped talking. Chapter 1944. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reading book web, no pop-up windows, free to read. That night, Sima Yue and Chunning only played the zither, chatted, and drank tea. They did nothing else. It was the same for the next few days. However, Sima Yue's gaze towards Chunning became more and more fervent. She even requested to stay the night. However, she was pushed back by Wu Lingyu. After they left, the brothel keeper came in. Chunning ordered, "Send someone to lure that man away tomorrow." Lure him away? Wouldn't it be possible for them to be discovered? "Master, do you want to take this risk now?" The brothel keeper asked. Wang, a force came from the zither and the brothel keeper was sent flying. She smashed the table in the middle of the room. "I said before that you're not allowed to question my decisions. Is it because I'm not your original master that my words don't matter?" The smile on Chun Ying's face disappeared. She no longer hid her aura. She looked sinister and ruthless. This subordinate knows her mistake. The brothel keeper knelt and kowtowed. "I found her soul to be too tempting. I can't wait any longer. As long as I eat her soul, I'll be able to fully recover my strength." Chunning continued, "But the process is too slow. I can't wait any longer. Also, that man didn't have any effect on my Maine. That brat cares a lot about him. With him around, it'll be troublesome. Lure him away tomorrow. Then I'll take her away while he's still infatuated with me. As long as I eat her and insert a new soul, no one will find anything wrong." Yes, this subordinate understands. "I'll make the arrangements now." The brothel keeper left after speaking. "After you're done, go and receive your punishment." The voice behind her was bone-chilling. She knew what the punishment was, but she didn't dare to disobey. What surprised them the most was that Sima Yue was the only one who came on the second day. The other 3 were not there. Chunning was surprised when she saw her. The brothel keeper's arrangement didn't seem to be to stop her at the door. "See you, why are you here alone?" She smiled as she poured tea for Yue. "I came here secretly." Sima Yue smiled proudly. "Lingyu always forbids me from doing this and that. It's so annoying when they're together. So I sent them away and then I came here secretly. That way no one will hinder us. See you, you're so good to Chun Xing. Chun Xing is unable to repay you." Chun Xing said emotionally, "Chun Xing will play a song for you." Okay. Now I like to listen to you play the piano. I also went to look for other people to play, but they all didn't sound good. Now I feel uncomfortable all over if I don't listen to you play the guqin for a day." Sima Yue said. "Alright, I'll play it for you." Chun Rua sat down behind the guzheng and started playing. Sima Yue was so engrossed in the music that she did not even take a sip of the tea in her hand. After Chunying finished playing, she lifted her head and smiled sweetly at Sima Yue. Yue dropped the cup in her hand onto the table. The tea splashed out and wet her gown. Chunxing laughed and said, "See you, are you all right?" Siyu felt embarrassed and hurriedly took out a handkerchief to wipe the tea. After she was done, Chunyao said, "Siyu, do you want to go out and play with me?" "Go out and play? Where?" Sima Yue asked. "You've been in Witchcraft Immortal City for so many days. Have you had any fun?" "It's all right. I went out during the day but I didn't see anything fun. Ling Yu even said that this place isn't fun and wanted to go somewhere else. If I didn't insist on staying, I'm afraid that I would have been taken away." Sima Yue pouted, looking very unhappy. "Are you guys going back?" Chunyao was shocked and blurted out, "Yes. I had to persuade him in every way possible before he agreed to stay for 2 more days. Sai, what if he really wants to take me away later on?" Sima Yue said in distress. Chun Xing's hand that was pouring tea paused and said regretfully, "If you leave, Chun Xing will miss you. Why don't you come with me? I'll redeem your freedom." Sima Yue grabbed Chun Xing's hand. "See you?" Chun Xing looked at her emotionally and tears welled up in her eyes. She then pulled her hand away and said, "See you, I'm very happy that you can treat me like this. However, I have a death contract and can't be redeemed. There's definitely another way. I'll go talk to the procuress." Sima Yue said as she went to find the procuress. "See you, forget it. There's no other way." Chun Xing said, "Forget it, let's not think so much. Let's drink today and enjoy tonight. I know a place that looks especially beautiful at night." Then let's go. Sima Yue said, when we come back we'll find the procuress to redeem your freedom. All right. Chun Xing brought her out of the loft and pointed to the tallest building behind. That's the tallest building. As long as we can reach the top, we'll be able to see the entire immortal witches' city at night. I didn't expect the tallest building to be Spring Brothel. No wonder no one knows about it. Sima Yue looked at the top curiously. I'll fly you up. No, we can only walk up here. I'll bring you up. Chun Xing pulled Sima Yue's hand and the two of them started walking from the bottom all the way to the top. The more they walked, the more uncomfortable Sima Yue felt. Even her breathing became heavier. This is actually a good place to cultivate. That's why you'll feel a little uncomfortable. Chun Xing explained. Is that so? Sima Yue didn't believe it, but seeing Chun Xing smile, she suppressed her thoughts. However, Chun Xing isn't tired at all. I've climbed this often and I'm already used to it. Chun Xing explained. The two of them reached the highest level and Sima Yue came to the window. She realized that the view from here wasn't bad. It's so majestic. The entire city can be seen. Isn't it? In the past, when I was unhappy and couldn't take it anymore, I would come here. Looking at this view, my heart would feel better. Chun Xing said. Chun Xing, do you have times when you're unhappy? Everyone has times when they're unhappy. For people like us, it's natural that there would be more. Chun Xing said sadly. There are so many musical instruments here. Sima Yue saw that the room was filled with all kinds of musical instruments, flutes, zither, etc. See you, I'm actually best at flutes. Let me play a song for you. All right. Spring Rooster played a tune and after Sima Yue finished listening to it, she was completely stunned. It's so nice. After a while, she regained her senses and looked at Chun Xing with even more infatuation. See you, I want to ask you for a favor. Are you willing? Chun Yao asked. I'm willing. I'm willing to do anything you want me to do. Even if it's to sacrifice my life, my soul, I'm willing. Sima Yue said. Chun Xing's lips curled up. She was waiting for her to say this. Chapter 1945. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Reading book web quick update, no pop-up window free to read. Are you really willing to give up your soul for me? Chun-Li looked at her with a fervent gaze. Of course my heart almost broke when I saw how sad you were just now. If you really need my soul, I'm willing to give it to you. Sima Yue said in a serious tone. Then let's leave this place. Go to a place where you're willing to give me your soul. Chun-Li reached out her hand. Sima Yue walked over and placed her hand in hers. She watched as Chun-Li opened a space tunnel and brought her in. When she came out again she didn't know where she was anymore. She only knew that she was in a dark space and Chun-Li wasn't beside her. Chun-Li? Where are you? She called out loudly. However, this place was vast and her voice floated out and traveled very far. No one answered her. Chun-Li, Chun-Li, where are you? Where is this place? It's so scary. Come out quickly. Sima Yue was so scared that her voice was trembling. See you, I feel terrible. Chun-Li's painful voice came from all around, as if she was enduring some unbearable pain. Chun-Li, what's wrong? Chun-Li. Sima Yue shouted in the dark, but she didn't see anyone. See you, I'm in so much pain. Can you save me? Chun-Li's voice became weaker and weaker as if she was about to die. Chun-Li, how can I save you? You said that you're willing to give up your soul for me. Is that true? Chun-Li asked. Of course. Only your soul can save me from my pain. Then take my soul. Sima Yue shouted, how can I give my soul to you? Grab my hand. When I call your name and ask if you're willing, you have to say yes. After Chun-Li finished speaking, a faint shadow appeared in front of Sima Yue. She reached out her hand to Sima Yue and said, come, put your hand in mine. Sima Yue placed her hand in hers. Chun Rui looked at her and said, see you, are you willing to offer your soul to me? I'm willing. Sima Yue said. Chun Qing smiled as she looked at Sima Yue's body that was glowing. Her eyes were filled with joy. However, that joy soon turned into astonishment. Those dots of light did not converge into a soul like before. Instead, they all returned to her body. He actually failed? How is this possible? She frowned and looked at Sima Yue's unfocused eyes. She repeated herself, see you, are you willing to give me your soul? I'm willing, Sima Yue mumbled. Specks of light came out of her body once again, and this time, there were even more of them than before, and they were slowly gathering together. Chunya's heart finally calmed down. However, before the smile on her face could fully bloom, it froze again. Those light spots had all returned to his body. How is this possible? She looked at those specks of light in astonishment. Could it be that Sima Yoyue's soul was too special, so this method did not work on her? Why is it not possible? Sima Yoyue's voice rang in her ears. Only then did Chunyi notice her. She saw her smiling and looking at her. Her eyes were clear and bright. She did not look as dazed as before. You're actually awake? How is this possible? I said it before. Why is it not possible? Chunyi felt her hand being controlled and then pulled. With a strong pull, her body involuntarily flew out and landed beside Sima Yue. As expected, we're not in the same space. Sima Yue muttered, but we're together now. Chunyi staggered and almost fell to the ground. She turned around and saw Sima Yue staring straight at her. You didn't get hit by my charm sound, she said confidently. Your sound attack has no effect on me. Sima Yue said. Impossible. With your abilities, how can you stay awake in my charm sound? Chunyi did not believe it. At the beginning, she played a normal sound attack that could enchant one's mind. Later on, she played a charm sound on the flute. Anyone who heard the entire song would be enchanted. As long as my mental strength is strong enough. Sima Yue said her thoughts. Although I'm not very strong, my mental strength is not bad. I'm sorry that I didn't fall into your trap. You didn't have a crush on me from the start. Chunyi said, you've always been pretending. That's right. With someone as handsome as Lingyu, why would I like you? Sima Yue looked at her with disdain. You like men. Chunyi gritted her teeth, but even if you like men, you shouldn't be able to resist my sound attack. As long as you're a man, you shouldn't be able to resist it. Who said that I'm a man? Sima Yue took off the illusion ring and immediately returned to her female appearance. I'm a woman in name and in reality. If you use the sound attack that both men and women use, I might be annoyed for a while. You're actually a woman? Chunyi was astonished. Then she felt a towering rage and the humiliation of being deceived. She was actually deceived by a woman. She actually didn't realize that she was a woman. How could this be? Also, my name isn't Siyu. So no matter how you call my name, it's useless. Sima Yue said, my name is Sima. Sima Yue. Was it that Sima Yue? Is that Sima Yue? Sima Yue replied. I never thought that I would meet the little princess of the ghost realm in this place. Chunyi calmed down and looked at Sima Yue and stood up. However, your soul is really alluring. Although it's not our sect's mission to forcefully steal your soul, and an injury to your soul will affect the effects of your soul. But we don't have any other choice. Also, as long as we steal your soul and inject someone else's soul into your body, the little princess of the ghost realm will be one of us. You're dreaming too beautifully. Do you know who tried to eat my soul and what happened to him? Who was it? You do, my uncle. The son of the ghost queen Anaheim. I killed him and even his soul didn't escape. Sima Yue said. Hee, although I don't know what happened, you won't be able to hide from the main clan. You're alone. It's a piece of cake for us to deal with you. Chunyi said. Aren't you curious as to why I followed you here? Why? She really didn't think about it earlier. Now that she heard Yue ask, she thought of this question. Of course it's to find your gathering place. If you didn't lead the way, would we be able to find this place? Sima Yue smiled at her. Also, who told you that I came here alone? Chapter 1946. In 1 second she remembered, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. When Chunyao heard Sima Yue's words, she laughed. I really didn't expect that the princess of the ghost realm would be willing to risk her life in order to catch us. But do you really think that you can get any useful information by coming here? You can still get in touch with the outside world after coming here? Sima Yue looked at her without saying a word. Do you know where we are talking about? Chunyao asked. Where? Sima Yue really wanted to know. This is a space created by my sect. People from the outside can't find this place, let alone know how to get here. Once you're here, you won't be able to call for help. Chunyao kept staring at Sima Yue, wanting to see the panic on her face. However, she was disappointed. Sima Yue's eyes did not even change, as if what she said just now was not a threat to her. Do you know what kind of situation you're talking about? Chunyao asked. I know. Sima Yue nodded. It's just that we're completely isolated from the outside world. Your people can't come in, How can you be so sure that you can continue to live? Do you know how many people we have here? Of course. Sima Yue said confidently, I've never said that my people have to come in from the outside. What do you mean? Seeing her so confident, Chun Yao did not know how she could be so calm in such a situation. Literally. Sima Yue said, but thank you very much for telling me where we are talking about. After saying that, she waved her hand and Wu Lingyu, Black Shadow and Huan appeared beside her. You. Chun Yao looked at the three people who suddenly appeared in surprise. It turned out that they did not leave at all and had been following her all this time. That's right. She had been pretending all this time, which meant that she had already seen through her plan. How could she really take the risk alone? She just did not expect that Sima Yue had a space that could accommodate life. She took out her flute and looked at the four people, guessing the probability of leaving. As long as she could leave this place, she would be able to contact the people outside. As long as those people could come, she would be saved. Trying to escape? When the Black Shadow saw her retreating, it immediately stepped forward and snatched the flute from her hand. Then it imprisoned her body. A wisp of black smoke came out from his body and bound Chun Ro's hands and feet, making her unable to move. Furthermore, she didn't know what the nature of this black smoke was, but it was able to suppress her soul power. This is specially used to tie up your soul race. Black Shadow said hatefully. This woman was too hateful. She actually dared to use such despicable methods on them. Fortunately, he was beaten awake by Huan on the first day. Otherwise, who knows what kind of shameful things he would have done. Now that he saw her, he did not have the slightest bit of tenderness for the fairer sex. He only wanted to reward her. She could not say what he wanted to do. In short, he was not soft-hearted when he tied her up. When Chun-Li heard the two words soul race, her body shook. She was even trembling in fear. She looked at them and each of their expressions said that they already knew. My body is the same as the ghost races. How did you find out? Such an easy thing. Do you still need to say it? Your hand, I found it the moment I touched it. Sima Yue said, but I wasn't very sure before, but your reaction. She had already admitted it herself. They actually said that they were trying to trick her. Chun Ro gritted her teeth in hatred. These people were too good at pretending. I was wondering if you were talking about the soul race or just some despicable forces of the ghost race. Now I'm completely sure. Sima Yue said, actually, I hope that you're just some despicable forces. Because that way it'll be easier to deal with you. Sai, we're tired of you being like this. Chun Ro wanted to speak, but her mouth was covered by Black Shadow. You won't say anything useful even if you say it now. It's hard to listen to such nonsense. Black Shadow picked his ear. Black Shadow, I'll leave it to you. Juan said. Leave it to me? No way. You want me to torture her? Although I hate her, I can't do something like torture a woman. Black Shadow refused. Who wants you to torture her? Just kill her. Juan glanced at him indifferently. Or is it that in your heart, you actually want to torture her, so when I mention it, you naturally think of this? What nonsense are you talking about? Do you want to fight? Black Shadow waved his fist. Do you think you can win? Juan's casual words defeated the Black Shadow. Can I win? Of course I can't win. Then what's the point of looking for abuse? But when it came to killing people, who else could it be other than him? Willing? He glanced at him. This guy still looked as if it had nothing to do with him. He was the person that misliked, so how could he let him go? He wouldn't go and he didn't dare to ask him to go. Then there was only the little princess left. How could he let the little princess do something like killing someone? After thinking about it, he was still the only one who could do it. So, under the gaze of the three people, he silently took out a dagger and came in front of Chun Ming. He saw that she was looking at him in disbelief. Her body was struggling and she wanted to speak, but she could only make muffled sounds. You want to say that we don't know anything? We haven't interrogated you yet, so how can we just kill you like this? The Black Shadow spoke out her thoughts and chuckled. We'll know what you know after you die. A person with a bit of status like you shouldn't have placed any restrictions on your sea of consciousness. Chun Ming's eyes widened. She wanted to say something, but Black Shadow stabbed her in the heart. Ugh. The stabbing pain made her nerves exceptionally sharp. She felt that from her feet to her upper body, her body was transforming bit by bit, and her physical body was turning into a soul body. She felt that her life was quickly dissipating, and her consciousness was also dissipating bit by bit. That's enough. She heard Sima Yue's voice, and in a daze she saw her coming in front of her and grabbing her shoulders, not knowing what she was going to do. Suddenly she felt a sharp pain in her brain, and her consciousness was invaded. She had actually invaded his divine sense. Chun Ming's thoughts stopped there forever. She wanted to say, how could this person do this, but it was a pity that she couldn't say it anymore. Sima Yue retracted her consciousness and let go of Chun Ming's corpse. She watched as her body turned into specks of light, and disappeared into the air forever. How is it, did you discover anything? Black Shadow asked. These people said that they are from the Soul Society, and they are a power that mainly uses sound techniques. Sima Yue said, however, these people have nothing to do with the Ruin Valley. Even so, they didn't have any good intentions when they sneaked into the Ghost Society. Since we discovered them, we might as well get rid of these people. Chapter 1947. 1 Second to Remember, Love Divided by You? Read book web no pop-up window free to read. These people from the Soul Clan had actually opened up their own space outside the Immortal Witch City. It could be seen that they had been here for a long time and their strength had infiltrated a lot. It would not be an easy task to pull out this force. Fortunately, she knew most of the name list from Chun Ying's divine sense. She would capture these people first and interrogate them later. She should be able to get more information. Let's get out of here first. Huan said, I think there will be a lot of people here. I'm afraid it will take some effort to deal with them. He and Black Shadow both focused on killing people, so many of their moves were killing moves, the kind that could take a person's life with one move. Now that they wanted to capture them alive, there would be some constraints and it would take more time. Sima Yue left this place using the method she used with Chun Ying. Standing outside and looking back, she found that this was only a space the size of a few rooms. The surroundings were shrouded in thick black fog and she could not see what was inside. This is the place where the people from the Soul Clan extract the souls of the Ghost Clan. If the soul is extracted here, the body can be guaranteed to survive for a few minutes. As long as other souls are taken into the body at this time, they can become another person. However, this is a secret method and cannot be used in large quantities. Otherwise it will really give us a headache. Sima Yue said. But even so, the number of people was astonishing, and many of them were not from the Immortal Witch City. She could now help to deal with the Immortal Witch City, but the rest would probably have to be handled by Dizhou and the others. She felt that she was becoming more and more competent as a little princess. Who is it? Someone noticed them and shouted. When those people realized that the 4 people who suddenly appeared were not their people, they immediately shouted. Enemy invasion. Guards, go and inform the palace master. We were discovered so quickly. It seems that the people here are quite strong. Black Shadow laughed twice, his body turned into black smoke and flew over. Soon, those who heard the commotion came over, and Huan also went up to help. Wu Lingyu protected Sima Yue and stood in the distance, not letting those people get close to them. But as more and more people came, it wasn't so good to just fight one-on-one. He flew into the air, and an endless stream of water from the River of Forgetfulness flowed out from his palm. The rushing river water swept all those people into it. Gulp gulp. As soon as those people entered the water, they sank and drank a stomach full of water. When they were thrown out, they were already on the verge of death. They had lost consciousness and were lying on the ground, unable to move. While they were fighting, Sima Yue raised her head and looked at the sky. The gray sky looked unreal. She leaped into the air and poured all her spiritual energy into her hands. Adding on the strength of Mi Air and the rest, she attacked a spot of light in one go. Boom! The constructed space started to collapse. The people who were rushing over from afar looked at Sima Yue with hatred. He wanted to kill her but was intercepted by Wu Lingyu. Some small shrimps attacked Sima Yue. Sima Yue called out He Yan. This guy couldn't hold back and was shouting in the space. At the same time she took out Ling Long and transformed it into a sword to fight with those people. Soon the entire space collapsed completely. All the buildings here were destroyed and scattered on the ground. Everyone was also revealed. Pai Ling knew that Sima Yue would make a move tonight, so she was already prepared. When she heard the commotion here, she quickly brought people over. Sima Yue saw Pai Ling and said, "You came at the right time. These people have been dealt with. Get people to capture them. The prison cells I asked you to set up are all set up, right?" "I've already done it according to your request," Pai Ling said. Sima Yue asked her to change the prison cells to ones that could suppress the Soul Clan. These few days she took advantage of the time and finally completed the transformation. "How's the situation at Xiangchuan Brothel? After you left, our people went up and captured all those people. The guests were also locked up." Sima Yue nodded. Without any other orders, Pai Ling went to command people to capture all the people on the ground. The commotion here quickly attracted the crowd. In order not to alert the enemy, Pai Ling gave some other reasons. Anyway, she didn't mention the Soul Society. When Wu Lingyu and Black Shadow came back, the four of them quietly returned to the inn. They wanted to go back and rest, but they realized that there were people in the inn. Black Shadow and Huan saw the people sitting in the hall and said that they were going back to their rooms and left. You went to cause trouble again? Deja's face darkened. He looked a little scary. How am I causing trouble? Sima Yue refuted. I'm doing something big today. You caused such a big commotion outside the city. Deja said, you actually dared to go to the gathering place of the Soul Clan. You're really brave. Thank you, cousin, for your compliment. Sima Yue said with a smile. I didn't realize it before, but you're actually quite thick-skinned. Deja said. Did he compliment her? She actually dared to accept it like that. I'm the same as cousin in this aspect. Didn't I ask you to wait for me in West Arrival City? You actually did such a dangerous thing on your own again. Deja saw Sima Yue smiling at him. He couldn't vent his anger on her. He turned to look at Wu Lingyu and said, you were by her side. Didn't you know how to stop her? Wu Lingyu was affected by his anger. He said calmly, she's happy. You. Deja wanted to say that he, the Demon King, was still messing around with her. But when he saw the tenderness in their eyes, he swallowed his words. Looking at them, they wouldn't listen even if he said it. He couldn't be bothered to waste his breath. Anyway, it was fine as long as she was fine. Seeing that the two of them were ignoring him, he coughed and shouted, you two better stop before you go too far. Sima Yue walked to his side and sat down. She said, cousin, why are you here so soon? I thought you'd take some time to come. You're here. Can't I run faster? I just handed over some things to my subordinates. Deja said, and this matter is very important. I was wondering why they were so noisy recently. They probably wanted us to ignore them. Sima Yue told him about what happened tonight. Deja was more familiar with the powers in the Soul Society. He knew who it was the moment she told him. The main sect is also a big power in the Soul Society. They actually dared to reach out to us. We'll teach them a lesson this time. But I don't think they'll give up so easily. I'll teach you how to enter their consciousness. That way you won't have to ask them slowly. Sima Yue said. She felt that this was a good idea. If Deja learned how to do it, she could throw the things she needed to do to him. Ah. Chapter 1948. Deja did not know what she was thinking, but when he thought that she was willing to teach him this method, he was rather touched. However, when he learned it and went to interrogate those people one by one, he realized that she did not have any good intentions at that time. She only said feed, so that she would not have to do these things. Hence, he found the other two DE and DR and taught them this method, allowing them to interrogate those people and extract useful information from their memories. After DE and DR learned this method, it was much more convenient for them to interrogate the criminals later on, and they also obtained a lot of information. After Sima Yue taught Deja the method, she immediately handed the task of interrogating to him. Leave the main sect to me. Deja said, you still say that it's better to have less contact with people from the Soul Clan, do you understand? Her soul was really too tempting. If she was not his aunt's daughter, he might have already laid his hands on her. Especially the Soul Clan, who were even more fanatical about souls, he might not be able to control himself when he saw her. Hence, it was better for her not to have any contact with those people. Sima Yue also knew that her soul seemed to be very delicious, but she was not powerful enough now, so she should have less contact with those people. Cousin, have you seen that general from the Soul Clan? Sima Yue asked. Not only have we seen him. Deja scoffed, that person used his underworld beast's power to provoke me many times, but in the end he fled. He's not a big deal. But I heard that he's very powerful. Sima Yue did not believe his words. Looking at his expression, it seemed like he had suffered a lot at the hands of the other party. You still don't believe me? I don't believe you, Sima Yue said honestly. About Western Emergence region and Immortal which region? Sima Yue saw that he was about to lose his temper, so she quickly changed the topic. What did you find out? I didn't find out anything. Sima Yue said, those people are very careful, although I've already confirmed that those people have been bewitched by the Soul Clan, I didn't find the people controlling them. Tell me who those people are. I'll take care of the rest. Deja said. Okay. Sima Yue was happy that he liked to take care of things. She did not have to care about anything anymore. Deja could tell what she was thinking, but he didn't want her to get involved in the soul race's affairs. He just wanted her to be happy. Tell me what you know, then continue to let your scarlet bees keep watch. If there's any news, just send it to me, Deja said. Sima Yue thought for a moment, then took out a scarlet bee and handed it to him, saying, "This is a new queen bee. Although it's not as powerful as mine, it still has some scarlet bees under it. As long as you form a contract with it, you will be able to contact the bee below it. When the bees reached a certain stage, they would give birth to a new queen. The new queen would then leave with the bees and rebuild a new hive. She already had a few queen bees in her spirit pagoda, but none of them could be compared to hers. Hers was the real queen bee, the queen of 10,000 bees. You're giving it to me?" Deja looked at the scarlet bee excitedly. He knew that Sima Yue used the scarlet bees to gather information, and was envious that she had such a convenient contract beast. He didn't expect that she would give him one. "I don't have much use for the ones that were formed," Sima Yue said. "This way, you will be the first to know what your bees find out." "Okay. This is indeed useful to me. I won't stand on ceremony with you." Deja took the scarlet bee and formed a contract with it. Sima Yue then took out the rest of the scarlet bees. "You don't have a contract with these. If you don't have a place, you can just let them follow you outside. They have a connection with the queen bee. You will be able to know what they tell you. There's no need to go through so much trouble," Deja said, and kept all the scarlet bees. It turned out that he also had a space that could contain life. "Then you can investigate the rest yourself. I won't call my bees back. I will just monitor the progress," Sima Yue said. "Okay," Deja agreed. Although she always threw this matter to him and didn't care about it, she still cared about it. "Oh, it's almost dawn. Cousin, you must be tired after such a long journey. Why don't you go and rest first?" Sima Yue said. Deja stood up. "I still have to go to the nuclear plume to discuss the current situation. You stay here and don't run around for the time being. Understand?" Deja said. "Cousin, what are you worried about?" Sima Yue asked. "Since the Ruin Valley arranged this, he might be nearby. He is a soul eater and is very sensitive to souls. If he finds you, it will bring you some trouble," Deja said. "I understand," Sima Yue replied. "Okay. The shopkeeper here is my man, so you don't have to worry about tonight." Deja left, and the people in the room left as well. The inn finally regained its peace. "Phew," Sima Yue sighed and muttered, "Cousin is so fierce when he pulls a long face." Wu Lingyu smiled. "He's worried about you." "I know, or else I would have beaten him up long ago," Sima Yue said, "but it's good that he's here. We don't have to care about this anymore." Wu Lingyu looked at her and smiled. Although she didn't have to care about this anymore, she definitely wouldn't ignore it. She just said that she didn't have to take responsibility, so she could do whatever she wanted. They returned to their rooms to rest. Sima Yue slept until noon the next day. When she woke up, she saw Wu Lingyu with a dark face and Mou leisurely drinking tea. She rubbed the space between her eyebrows. These two people were too strong. She actually couldn't sense their existence. "When did my room become a place where you can come and go as you please?" She sat up and looked at the two with a dark face. Wu Lingyu stared at Mou. He only noticed this guy entering Yue's room. He wanted to chase him out, but the two of them would definitely wake her up if they fought, so he could only stare at him. Mou ignored Sima Yue's anger. He looked at her and said, "I want the scarlet bees too." That Deja, when he went back last night, he showed off to him that Yue gave him the scarlet bees. He was so cocky and deserved a beating. "What are you doing here?" Sima Yue rolled her eyes. "You gave it to him, so I want it too. I don't want him to show off in front of me again," Mou said. Sima Yue pursed her lips. Deja actually did such a stupid thing and even showed off in front of him. The person in front of her was even more speechless. An old monster who had lived for so many years actually came to ask for things from her for such a reason. Where was his shame? Chapter 1949. Sima Yue felt that when Mou and Deja were together, they were like children, competing in everything. After being nagged by Mou for a while, she still gave him a nest of scarlet bees in order to shut his noisy mouth. "Now that you don't care about this matter, I can follow you guys," Mou said. Seeing that she was still unhappy, he continued, "Alright, I'll tell you something to make you happy, how about it? What news can you get from the Duke's manor?" Sima Yue was not interested in his words and said lazily, It's about the whereabouts of your mother's guards. Mou said. You know about it? Your cousin told me to tell you. He forgot to tell you because there were too many things going on last night. He found the whereabouts of Lung Feng and the other guards, but he didn't find out the details. However, the last place they appeared was in Fengling County 50 years ago. That place is close to the Avicii Hell. Mou said. Close to the Avicii Hell? It seems like they guessed that mother is in the Avicii Hell. Sima Yue said worriedly, if that's the case it'll be troublesome. During this period of time she also learned about the Avicii Hell. Most people who went there would not return. If Lung Feng and the others went there, it was unknown whether they would live or die. However, with her strength, Ghost King and the others would not allow her to go there. Now she could only hope that they were not there. There's another news. Mou interrupted her thoughts. There's someone else investigating them. There's someone else investigating? Her fingers started tapping again. Who would care about mother's former guards? Why were they investigating them? Have you found out who it is? Wu Lingyu asked. Not yet. Those people are very secretive. We haven't found out the power behind them yet. Mou said, are we going there? Sima Yue thought for a while and said, let's not go for now. They appeared there 50 years ago and we don't know where they are now. Even if we go, we won't be able to find anything. Let's wait for cousin to get more information. That's good too. Fengling County is very vast. If only the few of us go there, it'll be like looking for a needle in a haystack. Wu Lingyu replied. What I'm more concerned about now is the other group of people. Deja said that he has already sent people to investigate. He asked you to wait here for news. If there is anything he will inform you. Mou said. Where's cousin? He went out of the city? From the looks of it, he's probably going to investigate the thing you guys created last night. Although all the people had been captured, that area would most likely be investigated. Moreover, he could also use this matter to investigate the soul ray sent by the Ruin Valley. Sima Yue understood Deja's thoughts and was happy. This had created an opportunity for him. When the time came, he would say that he was looking for the whereabouts of the main sect. The people of the Ruin Valley would be on guard, but they wouldn't know that he was looking for them. We've rested enough. Let's go out of the city for a walk. She said, we've been staying at Xiangchun brothel for the past few days. We haven't met anyone outside the city yet. Your cousin asked you to wait here. Aren't you afraid that he'll be angry if you go? He's not here. I'm just going out to investigate the aftermath of the main sect. Sima Yue said in all seriousness. Mou rolled his eyes. Like hell I'd believe you. However, he still went out with her. The past few days in the regional king's manor had been too boring. Now that Deja was here and had taken over the matter, he could be with her again. Sima Yue went out of the city. She first went to the main sect's old place to take a look. All that was left was a pile of ruins. Some of the residents passing by were surprised to see the ruins. When they heard from the guards that it was a space created by the soul race, they felt that it was unbelievable. They all thanked the regional king for protecting their safety. As for her, no one knew that she was the one who had put in the effort. Do you feel that it's unfair? Mou asked. It's nothing. Cousin made this arrangement for my safety. Sima Yue didn't care about the false reputation. She was very touched by Deja's protection. If the people from the main sect knew that she was the one who had eliminated the forces here, she would be in trouble in the future. After staying here for a while, they went to the strange village. From afar, they saw the guards capturing some villagers. Didn't they say that they were going to investigate secretly? Why did they capture them? Wouldn't this alert the enemy? They're not only capturing those that you suspect, they're also capturing innocent people. Wu Lingyu said, although the enemy will be suspicious, they won't take action immediately. As long as we can find out something from these people, we'll be able to gain something. I'm afraid that they won't give you the time to do so. Sima Yue wasn't so optimistic. The soul race had been restless for the past few years. These were just small skirmishes now. She was afraid that there would be more in the future. The ruler of the Soul Society, Qing Hun, was about as powerful as her grandfather. If her grandfather could increase his power, then the two clans would be able to stabilize in the future. Otherwise, based on the current situation, there would be no lack of war. She saw that the people had been captured by Deja. They walked around the outskirts of the city and went back. That night, she heard that Deja had brought people to capture people outside the city. The next day, Deja sent news that most of the people from the Ruin Valley had been captured. The rest were alert and had escaped. However, Deja was quite satisfied with this result. In the past, it was almost impossible to catch anyone in this kind of situation. This was because the soul race would not speak at all. Moreover, they were sealed and could not say anything. Once they said anything, they would die. Therefore, even if they captured them, there wouldn't be much of an effect. This time, with the method that Sima Yue had taught them, they could directly extract information from their memories. It was fast and accurate. Not only did they know the people here, they also found some other clues. As long as they followed these clues, they would be able to completely destroy the Ruin Valley's plan. When the Ruin Valley received the news, they were so angry that they flattened an entire mountain. This Dija, he actually captured all of our people this time. He looked at the few people kneeling in front of him with a sullen face. There were so many people in the Immortal Witch County, but only these few people had returned. Not only was their plan disrupted, it had even affected the plans of other places. One was the Western Arrival County, the other was the Immortal Witch County. Two important places had been exposed. To them, this was definitely not a small blow. Master, this matter is too strange. The person kneeling on the ground said, our people definitely wouldn't say anything. Then how did Dija know about the others? He even uprooted the main sect in our forces. This matter is indeed strange. The Ruin Valley touched his chin. What do you think? I also saw it by chance. Mou and a few people went to those few villages during the day. Chapter 1950. Suyu frowned. You're saying that Mou is involved in this matter? Hasn't he always been on bad terms with Dija? His relationship with Dija isn't good, but the key lies in the people around him. Who is it? If I'm not mistaken, she's the Ghost Realm's little princess who recently rose to fame in the Ghost Realm, Yukuluo's child in the human realm, Sima Yue. I think she looks 70 to 80% similar to Yukuluo. Then there's an 80 to 90% chance that it's her. Suyu said, I've heard some things about her in the Ghost Realm. Her temperament is indeed somewhat like her mother's. At that time, he had followed Chi He and accompanied Qing Hun to the Ghost Realm to propose marriage. He had seen Yukuluo, and she was indeed a fierce woman. Sima Yue's actions in the Ghost Realm were not small. Dija treats this little princess very well. The only difference between this time and the past is that Mou and her are involved. So this subordinate guesses that this matter should be related to them. Sima Yue. Suyu muttered Sima Yue's name, and the people kneeling on the ground felt chills all over their bodies. They knew Suyu's temperament, and knew that whether Sima Yue was related to this matter or not, he would remember it. But they didn't dare to say anything. If they could find someone to bear the anger for them, they wouldn't be stupid enough to provoke the fire back. The few of you go back and receive your punishment. Suyu's anger lessened a lot. According to the past, they might not be able to live even if they came back alive. Now that they were only receiving their punishment, it was considered light. It seemed that this method of diverting disaster was indeed effective. Suyu waved his hand, and those people immediately left. Before he changed his mind, they quickly slipped away. The two guards behind Suyu saw that they escaped so quickly, and soon their shadows disappeared. They wanted to tell them that the punishment now was different from before, and even if they went back, they would only be left with half their lives. Master, we've already lost 2 counties. What do we do next? Suyu was silent for a moment, then said, let's look at the situation again. If it's only these 2 places that were destroyed, then the rest of the plan will be changed. If he really has a way to know other things, then it will be really troublesome. Not long after, the Spiritas in 2 more counties were eradicated. This time, the Ruin Valley was convinced that Dija had grasped some method to find out about their people. The people from the other counties could not stay any longer. Otherwise all of them would die here. Dija was very happy recently. Using the method that Sima Yue taught him, he no longer needed to go through so much trouble when interrogating people. He could just torture them until they exhausted their mental strength. All the information they received was fast and accurate, catching the Spiritas off guard. This had never happened before. It was a pity that the people from the remaining counties ran away too quickly. Otherwise they would have gained even more. During this period of time, Sima Yue was in a semi-secluded state. She did not have to worry about the soul race, so she went into seclusion to cultivate. 2 months later, Dija came to find her. He said that the matter was more or less settled. The remaining people had already escaped. He also wanted to leave this place and return to the capital. He asked her if she wanted to go back with him. Sima Yue rejected him, saying that she wanted to gain experience before going back. Dija saw that Mou was accompanying her, as well as Black Shadow and the rest, so her safety was not an issue. Therefore he did not insist on her leaving. After giving some instructions he brought his people back. Sima Yue did not expect that the group of people she saved on a whim to gain experience would be such a big conspiracy. After Deja left, she also prepared to continue on her journey. Just as she was about to check out, Pai Ling came to the inn. She now had a much higher opinion of Sima Yue. Thinking about how she had thought of her as an ordinary princess, she felt her face burn. Princess Ling? Sima Yue did not expect her to come at this time, so she asked Wu Lingyu to check out. She and Pai Ling went to the lobby to talk. Little princess, I really have to thank you for this matter. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't have known that I had so many soul race people here. It seems that we have been too relaxed in the past. Pai Ling said. What's important is that nothing happened. There's still the future. Sima Yue said. Yes. Pai Ling smiled. Little princess, are you preparing to leave? Where will the next place be? I haven't thought about this yet. After we go out, we'll just find a random direction and go. Sima Yue said. Since little princess has no direction, why don't you go to Feisei County? Where is it? What happened? Pai Ling nodded. I heard that the underworld beasts in Green Cloud Mountain have been acting strangely recently. Many people have rushed over. The underworld beasts in a place would not act strangely for no reason. Something must have happened, and it might be the appearance of a rare treasure. Sima Yue understood that Pai Ling had specially sent the news to her. She smiled and said, Then I'll go and take a look. Right now, everyone only knows that there is something strange, but they don't know the reason, so it might be very dangerous. But Uncle Mou is with you, so nothing should happen. Thank you for specially coming to tell me this. At this time Wu Lingyu had already checked out and walked over. Because it was Deja's property, he did not spend a single cent after staying for so long. Pai Ling saw that he was done, so she bid farewell and left. What did you talk about? Wu Lingyu asked. He said the next location. Sima Yue said, he said that the underworld beasts in Green Cloud Mountain in Feisei County are acting strangely. If they know so far away, it means that there is a big commotion there. Anyway, we haven't thought of where to go next. Why don't we go there and take a look? The others had no objections, so they went directly to the teleportation array. After going through 3 teleportation arrays, they finally arrived at Feisei County. As for Green Cloud Mountain, there was no need to ask anyone to know where it was, because there were too many people going there. Sima Yue and the others followed behind the main group. Seeing that there were people constantly overtaking them, she sighed. There are too many people going there. There are so many people, how could no one have discovered anything? Could it be that by the time we get there, the treasures have already been taken away? No, it won't. It's because there is no result that so many people are going there. Mou said. That's strange. Sima Yue touched her chin. It has been 3 to 4 months since the incident happened, and no one has discovered anything after such a long time. This means that the incident itself is a little strange. What is it? We will know when we get there. Mou did not care much about treasures. With someone like you who is very good at treasures, I don't think we will return empty-handed. Sima Yue patted his shoulder, looking like she had faith in him. Mou was speechless. Why did he feel like she was treating him like a treasure-hunting dog? What kind of analogy was that? Chapter 1951. Sima Yue and the others walked towards Green Cloud Mountain and met a lot of people along the way. Those people were usually in groups. Groups with only a few people like them were relatively rare. They all made some disguises. In fact, Mou was stuck with some beard by Sima Yue so that he would not be recognized so easily. Sitting on a rented flying beast, they flew for several days before arriving at Green Cloud Mountain. When they reached the periphery of Green Cloud Mountain, the flying beast refused to go in. So Sima Yue and the others let it go back and planned to walk in. Sima Yue stood at the foot of the mountain, looked at the continuous mountain range and asked Mou, "Here, do you sense any natural treasures?" "I don't feel anything," Mou said. "I'm really curious, what's wrong with you Mo clan people? Why are you so sensitive to treasures?" Sima Yue looked at Mou curiously. "Actually, it's nothing, it's just that our ancestors have the bloodline of the underworld beast, so they are more sensitive to treasures." Mou replied. "Then isn't this similar to Little Tuesday?" Sima Yue said. "He is also more sensitive to treasures, why didn't I think of this?" However, Little Two is sensitive to treasures after opening the power of his bloodline, but you Mo clan people all have the bloodline of the ghost race. Wu Lingyu said. "My clan's bloodline is powerful. It's indeed very powerful. Sima Yue admitted. But it's still not as good as you. Amoyu said. Sima Yue didn't expect to be suddenly brought up to her and was startled. From what she saw in the chaotic world, the 9 Netherworld clan that came out of the Black Lotus was directly born in that river, so their bloodline was naturally higher than normal. It has been passed down to now and it has faded a lot, but it still can't deny their status. She had never seen the 9 Netherworld clan. She was a little curious, why did her grandmother marry her grandfather back then? She was not in the palace nor did she die, so where was she now? Why did she not hear any news about her mother when such a big thing happened to her mother? It was said that this grandmother did not stay in the palace for much time, and left after giving birth to her mother. She gave off the feeling that she was going to have a baby with the Ghost King. If she had the chance to meet this grandmother, she would have to ask her properly. Senior Martial Brother, is what you said true? The abnormal movements of the nether beast here are not due to the presence of a rare treasure? Yes. Are we still going in? Of course I'm going. Was it possible for there to be no reason for such a strange movement? Even if there are no rare treasures, there must be a reason for this. That's right, and haven't you noticed? The people who had come recently were all big shots. I'm afraid this place is more complicated than we thought. Who is eavesdropping? Sima Yue and the others were thinking that they had heard people talking about the treasure as soon as they came in. They did not expect to be discovered so quickly. Even though they didn't manage to conceal their auras. They walked out from the big tree and saw the vigilant group. They said, "We're just passing by. We don't mean to eavesdrop on you." Do you think I'm just passing by just because you say so? Of all the places you could have passed by, you just had to pass by when we were talking about the treasure. This is too much of a coincidence. Moreover, you're hiding behind the big tree sneakily. Who would believe you? The only woman among them looked at them mockingly, as if she was mocking them for saying that their reasons were too fake. We've been resting here for a while. It's you who came here to talk about this. Moreover, we didn't deliberately hide our auras. Moreover, what you're talking about is not a secret. What's there to eavesdrop on? Sima Yue retorted. Nonsense. The woman shouted. It's not too much to kill vile people like you. Tisk, how domineering. Sima Yue looked at her up and down. With the strength of the Nether Emperor, you dare to say that you want to kill people. It seems that the place you live in is not a well-educated place. Presumptuous. How can you insult our divine shadow palace so casually? Another man said. Did I say anything wrong? Sima Yue looked at them innocently. If she didn't have the backing of a powerful force with her strength, would she dare to be so arrogant? In terms of background, she was the one who could be arrogant, but she kept a low profile. I'll kill you right now. Let's see who. Junior sister, back down? The leader of the men shouted at the woman and pulled her behind him. Then he bowed to Sima Yue and said apologetically, "This one is Shuang. Junior sister has been spoiled by mistress to the point that she is a little out of control. She has offended you all, please forgive her. When we return we will definitely educate her well." Senior brother? The woman did not expect her senior brother to say this. She was shocked and felt wronged and dissatisfied. However, she knew that he was angry and did not dare to say anything. She could only glare at Sima Yue unwillingly. Sima Yue did not intend to do anything to them just because of a few words. She only nodded and left with the others. Once they were far away, Shuang finally stopped bowing. His face was so gloomy that it was scary. Senior brother? Everyone was afraid when they saw him like this. Senior brother, why did you stop me just now? The woman pouted and said unhappily. Junior sister, those people are not ordinary people. If you go up like this, I'm afraid you will die before you even get close to her. Shuang said. Isn't it just a few people? We have so many people here. Shui Shan did not feel that she had just walked through the gates of hell. Although there are only 5 of them, I can't see through their strength. This means that they are all stronger than me. Moreover, when you moved just now, the killing intent in the eyes of the 2 people behind the woman made me tremble. Shuang said. But they insulted us so much. Are we just going to let them go like this? Another person said unwillingly. How is that possible? Shui Ying's eyes revealed killing intent. Our divine shadow palace is not to be trifled with. We will just let them live for a few more days. When Master and the others come in a few days, we will wash away the shame of today. Senior brother is right. If we go against them now, it will be like hitting a stone with an egg. What we need to do now is to find the reason for the underworld beast's strange movements. When Master and the others come, we can tell them. Someone agreed. Alright, then let them live for 2 more days. When father and mother come, I will definitely teach them a lesson. Shui Shan said hatefully. And let's go. We can't be too far away from them. If we lose them, Ash Cloud Mountain is so big. It will be troublesome to find them. Sima Yue did not know what they were thinking. Even if she did, she would not care. They were just some little ants. They really thought of themselves as green onions. What she was more concerned about was what had caused these underworld beasts to act strangely. If it was not the birth of a treasure, then what was the reason? Chapter 1952. They wandered around Ash Cloud Mountain for several days but did not find anything special. When it came to the strange movements in Ash Cloud Mountain, they did not feel anything special other than seeing some rampaging underworld beasts. She caught a few underworld beasts to ask, but the underworld beasts themselves did not know what was going on. They only knew that there was a force controlling them, making them involuntarily. Since she could not get any results, she could only release those underworld beasts. The scarlet bees didn't find anything? Mou asked. No. Sima Yue shook her head. The news they sent back was that those underworld beasts were a little strange, and they did not find anything in the place where they gathered. There were no signs of a treasure being born. Mou had said earlier that there were no treasures here, so she was not disappointed when she came to this conclusion. It was just that the more she investigated, the more curious she became, and she could not help but want to find out. Boom! The sound of a duel came from the distance. They looked over and found that 2 more forces were fighting. They did not see any treasures, but many people had died. At this time, a group of people ran out from the side of the path and surrounded the 5 of them. Seeing the people coming out from behind the crowd, Sima Yue raised her eyebrows. It seemed that someone was determined to court death. Shui Shan and the others came out from behind the crowd and saw Sima Yue's group of 5 surrounded. She raised her chin and said arrogantly, "Father, mother, this is the person who scolded my divine shadow palace for being a bunch of uneducated people. She also said that our strength was too weak and that we were not worthy of coming here. Not only that, they also want to kill our daughter. Father, mother, you have to uphold justice for your daughter." Shui Shan's father, Shui Shan's face darkened when he heard his daughter say this. He looked at Sima Yue with eyes full of killing intent. "Not only did you scold my divine shadow palace, you also want to kill my daughter. Little girl, you have guts." Sima Yue looked at Shui Shan's smug face and shook her head. "If I were you, I would wish I didn't have such a daughter. What's the use of a daughter who is full of lies and leads you to death?" "I'm not lying. You scolded us before and wanted to kill me. Father, if you don't believe me, you can ask senior brother and the others. They're all here." Shui Shan wasn't afraid of her father asking. Anyway, everyone had already unified their statements. Even if he asked, the result would be the same. Shui Shan had no intention of seeking confirmation. No matter what happened before, since they dared to bully the people of the Divine Shadow Palace, there was no need to let them go. "Little girl, I see that you're even younger than my daughter. If you're willing to kneel down and admit your mistake and destroy your own spiritual power, we'll spare your life." Shui Shan's mother usually treasured her daughter very much. She couldn't even bear to say a harsh word to her, but she actually wanted to kill her. If she wasn't in a hurry to find the treasure, she would definitely take her life. Sima Yue was amused. "You want me to kneel down? Destroy your own spiritual energy? That's right. This is already a light punishment for you, but you're not grateful at all. What's with that expression?" Shui Shan's mother shouted when she saw Sima Yue's disdainful look. "A crooked stick will have a crooked shadow. No wonder you're all the same." Sima Yue shook her head and sighed. "People like you, I don't know how you managed to survive until today. Father, look. She looks down on us and doesn't take mother's words seriously." Shui Shan said. "There's no point in keeping this kind of person. Mother is just too soft-hearted. And she's really annoying. Then let's kill her." Shui Shan originally only wanted to punish Sima Yue a little. If she was willing to do as he said, she would be able to keep her life. Since she was so stubborn and even insulted them in front of everyone, he wouldn't even give her a chance to live. "What are you all standing there for? Hurry up and attack. Don't you understand what father means?" Shui Shan shouted at the people. Those people usually listened to Shui Shan. Now that they heard her, they immediately attacked Sima Yue. "You've got guts." Black Shadow and Huan's figures flashed. They only heard the sound of the underworld weapon entering their bodies. When it stopped, those people stood still. "What are you all standing there for? Hurry up and attack." Shui Shan shouted. Pooh, fresh blood spurted out. Those who were originally standing fell one by one. None of the people surrounding them were left. Everyone was killed in an instant. This scene was too exciting. The people from Divine Shadow Palace were all stunned. Those two people were actually so powerful. Shui Shen's face turned ugly. Not to mention the others, even he didn't see how the two of them did it. These two people's strength was far above his. Shui Shan was stunned. These people were actually so powerful? She didn't know if her father could beat them. She looked at her father and saw that his whole body was stiff. He stood still and didn't dare to move. She knew that he wasn't frightened. Divine Shadow Palace. Mou softly said their names. You've got guts. TSK, you're even more powerful than the king. Otherwise, how would you dare to make the king's favorite little princess kneel before you and destroy her own spiritual power? Little princess? Shui Shan and the others were stunned. This person was actually the little princess? How was that possible? Shouldn't the little princess be surrounded by a group of guards? How could there be someone like her? At this time, one of the people behind them suddenly shouted, "That's right, she's the little princess. That time when we were outside, I saw them looking at the recording of the incident in Yangcheng. I glanced from afar and saw that person's back. It really looked like her." Don't talk nonsense. There are many people with similar backs. How can this prove that she's the little princess? Shui Shan's mother shouted. They weren't willing to admit that she was the little princess. Otherwise, their actions just now would be enough to kill them 1,000 times over. Thinking about the powers that had offended the little princess before, they were all exterminated by the Spirit King. Shui Shan was now regretting it. Why did he listen to his daughter and kill these people? There were clearly so few of them and they didn't have the aura of the princess. How could it be her? Little princess, we had eyes but didn't recognize Mount Tai. We were wrong. Please let us go this time. Shui Shan's legs went soft as he directly knelt down and kowtowed to Sima Yue. Didn't you want me to kneel down and kowtow? Didn't you want me to destroy my own spiritual power? Why aren't you saying anything now? Sima Yue said. Little princess, it's all my daughter's nonsense. How would I dare to let the little princess do this? It's too late. I gave you a chance to live but you didn't cherish it. I've said it before, you will regret having such a daughter. After she finished speaking, Black Shadow and Huan went up and killed all of them. A little princess is indeed the same as your mother. She kills without batting an eye. A voice came from the sky, bringing with it a pressure that made Sima Yue feel heavy pressure. Chapter 1953. Wu Lingyu put his hand on her shoulder, and the pressure disappeared. However, it did not disappear but was blocked by Wu Lingyu. Mou frowned slightly. This person was not here just now but suddenly appeared. Although it was only a moment of delay, he was still one step slower. Who was it that came out at this time and even pointed out Sima Yue's identity? It seemed like they did not come with good intentions. An old man walked out from the space and soon 4 people came out from another space. Looking at their lineup, they had indeed come prepared. 5 ghost hands, Old Mountain Granny, Old Man He, Old Mother Yunshan, Old Ancestor Qin. I really didn't expect that Ghost Concubine would be able to invite all of you. When Mou saw those people, he immediately guessed what was going on behind the scenes. We did not want to, but we owe her a favor. 5 ghost hands, who was the first old man to appear, said. Is that favor worth your lives? Mou raised his eyebrows. We have no choice. Cause at the time, effect at the present. Even if we were to die here today, it would still be our lives. At least we will not owe her anything in the future. 5 ghost hands said resignedly. Sima Yue looked at Mou. From his gloomy expression, these people were not easy to deal with. It seemed like Anaheim had spent a lot of effort to deal with her. Actually, we can only blame our bad luck. Who asked us to be the closest? Mountain Elders sighed. And? What do you mean? Mou asked. Anaheim gathered a lot of people to deal with the little princess. We happened to be the closest. Mountain Elder said, Mou, with our relationship, as long as you don't make a move, we will not make things difficult for you. Mountain Elder, aren't you making things difficult for me? Mou sighed. You know, she is the person I want to protect. Then we can only put aside our past relationship. Old Mother Yunshan snorted. Sigh, I will burn some paper for you guys in the future. Mou expressed his attitude. It is not certain who will burn paper for whom. Come. 5 ghost hands shouted and immediately attacked Sima Yue. As soon as he moved, Everyone else moved as well. Sima Yue could tell that these were all old monsters on the same level as Mou, so she called out Mi-Er. Mi-Er and Old Mother Cloudy Mountain fought each other and barely managed to fight to a draw. They fought all the way into the void. Sima Yue stood where she was and did not know what was going on. She could only stand there anxiously. At this moment, another group of people surrounded them from all directions. They were all dressed in black. When they saw Sima Yue, they did not say anything and directly attacked her. Ghost Concubine was thinking about how Sima Yue was able to trigger the lightning tribulation because Black Shadow and the others had helped her stall for time. However, this time all the experts around her had been lured away, so she had no time to trigger the lightning tribulation. That way they could kill her. She had to admit that she was right but not completely right. It was true that Sima Yue relied on Black Shadow and the others to summon the lightning tribulation, but she was not completely powerless. These people were not able to kill her. Actually, Anaheim's arrangements were already very thorough. She found 5 old men to deal with her. If it wasn't for Mi-Er, Old Mother Cloudy Mountain would have been dealing with her. With her ability, how could she be Old Mother Cloudy Mountain's opponent? And under such circumstances, she still sent these black-robed men to kill her. It could be said that she was very thorough. But she did not expect that Sima Yue's spiritual beasts were not ordinary. They actually forced those people to not be able to get close to her. Pa! Little Purple licked its claws and meowed at those people. Sima Yue hugged Little Purple and stood on the spot without moving. Charred corpses were piled up around her. How could it be? Although the remaining people surrounded her, they did not dare to go forward. Why did she suddenly release the lightning? Moreover, it was such a powerful lightning bolt. Almost every bolt of lightning that came down killed or injured several people. It's rare that you guys are so loyal to Anaheim. I'll fulfill your wishes. Sima Yue stroked Little Purple. I don't have the time and mood to waste with you guys. Let's end this quickly. She threw Little Z into the air. Little Z reluctantly stretched her body and lazily stretched herself. Meow, meow. It opened its eyes and looked at those black-robed men. It was very unhappy. You made me unable to sleep properly. You ants, prepare to die. It pointed its finger and a black cloud condensed in the sky. This black cloud was different from the tribulation cloud. But it still made people feel the pressure of the lightning. And it would also lock onto the person it wanted to lock onto. Oh no, we've been locked onto. This is not a tribulation cloud. Everyone run. Someone shouted. The others were stunned for a moment and then flew in all directions. TSK trying to escape? Little Purple was not anxious at all. It sneered and waved its claws. The black cloud in the sky immediately scattered and chased after those people. It actually chased us. Those black-robed men shouted as they ran. Looking at the black cloud above their heads, they could not stay calm. They were not afraid of spiritual power or fierce opponents. But they could not stay calm when facing the lightning. Someone condensed spiritual power and attacked the black cloud in the sky, trying to disperse it. But it did not have any effect at all. No, it should be said that the black cloud absorbed their power and became bigger instead. Pa! Thunder and lightning fell, accurately striking those people's bodies. They did not even have the chance to resist and were directly struck into black charcoal. The movement here had already attracted many people. Seeing this scene, they were all stunned. Is this a tribulation cloud? It's so powerful. This is not a tribulation cloud. There is no aura of a tribulation cloud. But it's more powerful than a tribulation cloud. Even if it was a tribulation cloud with these people's strength, they could resist it once or twice. But this black cloud was clearly very small, but it killed people in one strike. Little Purple heard those people's words and snorted softly. It was the top-grade purple lightning. How could an ordinary lightning tribulation compare to it? And in the distant mountains, a little boy was sitting on the old tree on the highest peak. When he saw the movement here, he immediately threw away the walnut in his hand. Oh my God! After waiting for so long, she's finally here. He cried out twice, then jumped down from the tree and landed on a nether lion that was guarding below. Let's go and find her. Roar! The nether lion roared and ran towards the place with the black cloud. The little boy waved his little hand excitedly on its back. Found her, finally found her. Sob, 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 this woman is so hard to find. Sima Yue did not know that someone was running towards her. At this moment she was looking at those corpses in a daze. Since there was no treasure here, could it be that these things were done by Anaheim in order to lure her over so that she could kill her? Chapter 1954. After thinking for a while, she felt that this possibility was not big. If Anaheim wanted to kill her, she should not use such a high-profile way. If she knew her whereabouts, she would have been killed before she came here. On the contrary, in order not to cause trouble for herself, she should be quieter. And these people, she looked around and found the leader just now. Seeing that his body was not stiff yet, she probed his sea of consciousness with her divine sense. It turned out that, just like what 5 ghost hands and the others said before, they were allowed to come only because they were close to here. Anaheim knew that it would be a long time before she left the palace, and it would be too late to send someone to kill her. Later, when she found out that she had gone to the Mo clan, she had no choice but to wait for her to leave. Who knew that this wait would be 2 years? When she received her news again, she had already set off from the immortal witch city. To be able to find her in such a short time, it already showed that these people were not ordinary. Unfortunately, Anaheim still underestimated her. That's the little Princess Sima Yue, right? That's right. There is no one else who can use lightning so freely except for the little princess. I didn't expect the little princess to come here too. Are those people going to kill the little princess? Who are those people? They are too bold. Aren't they afraid that the king will destroy their entire clan? Hee, who else would dare to go against the king and kill the little princess except for that person? Don't say it even if you know. Be careful not to be hurt. You don't even know how you died. What are you afraid of? Do those people dare to come here now? Sima Yue was here. If those people came, they would be struck by lightning. If they were smart, they should hide far away at this time. So it was very safe here now. Boom, boom, a huge sound came from the inner circle, startling the people who were still in shock. What's going on? What's this sound? It seems that the underworld beasts are rioting. Everyone looked back and saw rolling yellow sand roaring towards them. They were so scared that their legs went soft. Beast tide. It's a beast tide. Why is there a beast tide suddenly? And it's coming towards us. What's going on? Is it because of the lightning just now? You fool. If it's because of that, they should hide even further away. That's true. Nether beasts are also afraid of lightning. Then why did they come here? Who knows? Heavens, there are so many of them. What are you still standing there for? Run. Although everyone was here for the treasures, no one dared to stay here under such circumstances. It was best to escape first. They would return after the beast tide was over. The word, run, woke many people up. The people who came to watch the show quickly ran in all directions. Some of them saw Sima Yue still standing at the same spot and shouted, "Little princess, the beast tide is coming. Why aren't you running?" Sima Yue smiled at the man. "I'm fine." That person was stunned. She didn't know if it was because of her smile or because of her confidence. He glanced at her again. Seeing that she had no intention of leaving, he continued walking. She had that purple cat, so there shouldn't be any problems. At least she could protect herself. Sima Yue jumped to the top of the mountain. Looking at the yellow sand churning in the inner area, she knew that the beast tide this time must be very big. It was very strange. There was clearly a battle here. Why would these nether beasts still come in this direction? Yu, there's someone. Little Z got up from her arms and looked in the direction of the beast tide. Are you sure? Sima Yue asked. Yes, I feel a different aura. Little Z said with certainty. It seems that this matter is indeed controlled by someone. Sima Yue looked at the approaching beast tide. Then let's see who is playing tricks here. The beast tide was very fast. After a while, they could clearly see the shadows of those nether beasts. However, at this moment, the beast tide suddenly stopped. Everyone found that something was wrong, so everyone slowed down their running speed, wanting to see what was going on. Someone stopped them. Little Z said. But Yue, you'd better go and see. What's wrong? The person sitting on the lion is a child. To be able to control nether beasts, a child, she almost immediately understood the identity of that person. The holder of the Dragon God Order. Now that he was stopped, it meant that someone knew that he was manipulating behind the scenes and also knew his identity. In that case, those who stopped him should be aiming for the Dragon God Order. She really didn't expect to see this child here. If Mou knew, she didn't know if he would still fight in the void for so long. That child is in trouble. Little Z said. Those people are very powerful. Let's go and see. Sima Yue flew over there with Little Z in her arms. Soon, she saw the little boy who was surrounded by a group of people. The little boy sat on the back of the nether lion. Seeing the man in front of him, he was furious. He threw the walnut shell in his hand and shouted, I still have to find someone. Don't block my way. Kid, hand over the Dragon God order, and we won't make things difficult for you. The leader covered his face, not wanting others to see his appearance. That's right. If they really snatched the Dragon God order, they would be the public enemy of the entire Ghost Realm. At that time they would not get a treasure but a hot potato. No. The Dragon God order is mine. You bad guys always want to snatch my Dragon God order. I won't give it to you. The little boy stood on the back of the Nether Lion, one hand on his waist and the other pointing at those people. Go eat them. Roar, the Nether beasts swarmed forward, but these people were obviously not ordinary people. They still had some strength. Facing so many Nether beasts, they were not directly killed but dealt with it with ease. Do you think you can control the Nether beasts? You haven't fully understood the power of the Dragon God order, and it's a waste in your hands. You'd better hand it over obediently. You rest. The little boy closed his eyes, and the surrounding air seemed to have quieted down with him. Not long after, he suddenly opened his eyes, accompanied by the roar of the Nether beasts in the depths of the mountain range. Divine Beast. The expressions of those people finally changed. They did not expect him to be able to control even the Divine Beast. If you know what's good for you, hurry up and get out of the way. I'm going to find that person who's releasing electricity. If you delay my search, I'll let them kill all of you. The little boy threatened. The aura of a few divine beasts came over, and it seemed that if they didn't listen, they would come over immediately. Those people hesitated for a moment, then said that they would leave with their people. The Dragon God order was very important, but his life was equally important. This time he didn't bring enough people. Next time he would bring more people. Chapter 1955. Sima Yue was surprised when she heard his words. Could he be referring to her when he said that she was the one who could release electricity? Was he really like what those people said? Was she the person he had been looking for? It couldn't be. Sima Yue had yet to come back to her senses when the little boy suddenly jumped down from the lion's back and ran towards her. He raised his head and looked at her. Girl, you came from that side just now. Did you see the person who was releasing electricity? Aren't you afraid of me? Sima Yue asked. He was so wary of those people just now. How did he run to her so easily? You didn't want to kill me. Why should I be afraid of you? The little boy said, Tell me where the person who was giving off electricity is. I'll give you walnuts to eat, okay? With that, he took out a few walnuts and handed them to Sima Yue. Sima Yue looked at the walnuts in his hand. They were the same ones she saw by the pond. She took the walnuts and held them in her hand without eating them. She asked, I can tell you. But you have to tell me, why are you looking for her? You made such a big commotion just to find her? Yes. The little boy nodded. You took my walnuts. Tell me, where did she go? You haven't answered me yet. Why are you looking for her? Sima Yue said. I'm looking for her to save my life. The little boy replied. Save your life? Why are you looking for her to save your life? You haven't seen her before. How do you know that she can save you? Because. The little boy suddenly reacted and shook his head. I can't tell you this. Hurry up and tell me where that person went. She's going to leave soon. It wasn't easy for me to come up with this idea to find her. Sima Yue saw that he was anxious and stopped teasing him. She said, I'm the one who can give off electricity. Can you tell me now? You. The little boy took 2 steps back and looked at her from head to toe. You're different from what others told me. Are you really the one who can release electricity? Sima Yue condensed some lightning attributes. The lightning sizzled in her palm, making the little boy extremely excited. Wow, I finally found you. Woo woo, if I still can't find you, I'm going to die. The little boy started crying as he spoke. If Sima Yue had not stopped him, he would have rushed to her side. Sima Yue looked at him in confusion. When he stopped crying, she asked, Who told you that I can save you? It's my second master. He's a very powerful divinator. The little boy said, He said you can save me. Why should I save you? Sima Yue held little Z in her arms and asked when she saw how sure he was. Someone told me that if I show you this, you'll promise me. The little boy took out a jade tablet and handed it to Sima Yue. Sima Yue was stunned when she saw the jade tablet. She took the jade tablet and looked at it carefully. She said, Who gave this to you? It's my master's friend. He said to give this to you when he sees you. He also asked me to tell you that he's fine, but he can't come back for the time being. The little boy looked at her expectantly. You'll save me, right? Sima Yu's tears fell down. Yes, I'll save you. Thank you. The little boy jumped up happily and took out a few walnuts for her. I'll treat you to walnuts. Sima Yu saw that he was so happy. She looked down at the jade tablet in her hand with tears in her eyes. He said that he was fine, but he couldn't come back for the time being. After so many years, she finally heard news of him again. Martial uncle, if Master and the others knew that you sent back news, I don't know how happy they would be. She murmured softly. This jade tablet said that it belonged to the old principal of the heavenly sect, her martial uncle Yuan Shaojia. The familiar aura on it reminded her of the few times they met. Ever since he left with Su Jin and the others, there had been no news of him. She didn't expect that a strange little boy would come to her with his keepsake. Sima Yue looked at the nether beasts that surrounded them and said, Since you've found me, let these nether beasts go back. The little boy quieted down and said, That's true. You guys go back. A woo, roar, the nether beasts growled one after another as if responding to him. Then they all turned and left. All right. The little boy clapped his hands and jumped in front of Sima Yue. My name is Fushi. What's your name? You don't know my name? I don't know. Second Master didn't say. He just said that he would send me to the world where you are, that you can discharge electricity, and that you can save me. He didn't say anything else. When Fushi said this, he complained to Second Master. Second Master likes to pretend to be a swindler. He always speaks half of the words. If he told me directly who you are, would I have to look for you so hard? He always likes to say that the secrets of heaven can't be revealed. Diske, he's just pretending. Sima Yue saw his angry little face and heard his complaints. She laughed. Wasn't that right? Divinator liked to use this sentence to fob others off. She didn't know if he really couldn't say it, and he even said that they didn't know. However, from the jade tablet given by the old principal, they knew her identity. They just didn't tell her. My name is Sima Yue. Sima Yue said, You've been in the ghost realm for so long, haven't you heard of my name? Don't you know that I can discharge electricity? The little boy shook his head. I accidentally showed my control over the underworld beast before, and then they guessed that I have the Dragon God Order. I've been hiding in the mountains for the past 2 years, and then I thought of this way to lure you here. I had no choice. If I didn't find you, I would have died. Is it that serious? Sima Yue looked at him. His complexion was all right and he didn't look like he was going to die. It's true. Fushi said, Don't think that I'm fine now. Maybe I'll die one day. Let me take a look at your body first. Sima Yue grabbed his wrist and checked him. When she found out about his situation, she couldn't help but widen her eyes. How old are you? 250 this year. Fushi pouted. This number was really annoying. When did you get the Dragon God Order? More than 7 years old. Since then my body hasn't grown. If it weren't for Master and the others who tried their best, I'm afraid I wouldn't have lived until now. Fushi said rather sadly, Fortunately, a few years ago, Second Master suddenly said that he had a way and then sent me here. Sima Yue also checked the condition of his body. If it weren't for them thinking of many ways, he really wouldn't have lived until today. Then did your master say how to save you? Chapter 1956. No. Fushi shook his head, but Master said to find someone who can release electricity, it should be related to this. You want me to strike you with electricity? Sima Yue asked. No. That will hurt. Fushi looked at her in horror. He was afraid that she would suddenly strike him with a bolt of lightning. If that happened, he would die. Don't worry, since you have the old principal's jade token, I won't kill you. Sima Yue patted his head. I will study it carefully before making a move. I feel that your smile is so scary. Fushi shrunk his neck, muttering in his heart that the person Master found was not reliable. How am I scary? I'm just interested in you. Sima Yue laughed. This is the first time I have seen such a situation. You have quite the research value. You want to treat me as a lab rat? Fushi shouted. Sima Yue glanced at him. Do you have any other ideas? All right, he could only be treated as a lab rat by her. You don't have to be so scared. Mo, you also know some things about the Dragon God Order. Wait for him to come down, maybe he will have some ideas. Sima Yue saw his face scrunched up like a bun and said with a smile. Mo? Don't tell me it's that Mo? Fushi's face was even more embarrassed. He hoped that the MOU she was talking about was not the MOU he met before. However, Sima Yue smashed his hopes with a smile. It's the MOU you tricked before. How do you know him? Why don't you not wait for him? Let's go now. Fushi looked around, afraid that MOU would suddenly appear. What did you do to him? He is so scared. Sima Yue was very curious about what happened between the two. One was so scared, the other was willing to follow her to find him. This was probably not an ordinary trap. Actually, it's nothing. Fushi said, I took a very ordinary thing and sold it to him, saying that it was a treasure and sold it for a high price. He's never seen that thing before and it has our spiritual power, so he naturally thinks it's not an ordinary item. But if you study it carefully, you'll find that it's actually useless. Sima Yue knew why MOU was angry. He was an all-powerful figure in the ghost realm, but he was deceived by a little girl. It was not a big deal, but it was a loss of face for him. Later, when I heard his name from others, I realized that I had tricked a very powerful guy. I knew that these old men didn't care about money. They only cared about their reputation. So, if I met him, he would definitely cause me trouble. So, Yue, let's leave quickly. Fushi looked at her pleadingly. Sima Yue shrugged. It's too late. He's already back. Ah! Fushi screamed and jumped up. He looked left and right and finally ran behind her. He stuck his head out and asked, Where? Sima Yue pointed to the sky. Fushi looked up and saw a few people coming down from above. When MOU saw Fushi, he immediately went up and picked him up. His face was as ugly as the stone in the latrine. You brat, you actually dare to appear in front of me. See how I'll deal with you this time. As he said that, he slapped Fushi's butt. Ah, Yue, I'm going to be beaten to death by him. You have to save me. Fushi cried out. You're not a child anymore. There's no use crying. MOU said as he hit him a few more times. Take it easy. Don't hurt him. Sima Yue warned MOU. Yue, I'm your man now. If you don't save me, I'll lose my life. Fushi screamed and looked at Sima Yue pitifully. But his words made Wu Lingyu's face darken. You're saying that you're one of her people? The bone-chilling voice made Fushi shudder uncontrollably. Who was this person? Why was he so fierce? Yue already agreed to take me in. Of course I'm her man. In order to get rid of MOU, Fushi chose to ignore Wu Lingyu's ugly face. From his point of view, Wu Lingyu was not as dangerous as MOU. It was more important to save his life. Just as Wu Lingyu was about to explode, Sima Yue grabbed him and said to MOU, who was hitting Fushi, his body is very weak now. He'll calm down after a few hits. That's right. At most I'll return it to you. Fushi nodded in agreement. It would have been better if she didn't mention this. Now that she mentioned it, MOU's anger rose again. He picked him up and hit him a few more times before letting him go. Sima Yue showed the old principal's jade tablet to Wu Lingyu and said, he brought this here. That old man is still alive. Wu Lingyu looked at the jade tablet. His cold face finally relaxed. Sima Yue told them about Fushi's situation. Only then did they understand the cause and effect of this matter. It turned out that he was the one who took care of everything. He made them come here for nothing and even encountered an assassination attempt. But without him, they wouldn't know about the old principal's situation. MOU, you have some understanding of the Dragon God Order. Do you know how to save him? Sima Yue asked. Save what? It's best if this kind of person who's full of lies dies. MOU said lightly. Fushi broke free from his hand and ran to Sima Yue's side. He made a face at him. Okay, I'm talking to you about serious matters. Sima Yue protected Fushi. Although she knew that he was 250 years old, his body still looked very deceptive. Moreover, he was someone introduced by the old principal. No matter what, she had to help him solve this matter. First, tell me, where did you come from? MOU asked. This is a secret. I can't tell you. Fushi said. Why can't I tell you? People who come from our place can't say the name of that place. This is the rule. Fushi insisted. Other than this, you can ask about anything else. But I'm interested in your place. Only when I know where you come from can I use this to see if your body is different from ours. This. Fushi hesitated for a moment. Anyway, we're much more advanced than your place. You just need to know this. Sima Yue and the others looked at each other. A continent that was more advanced than their place? And he couldn't just tell anyone. That place. Wu Lingyu grabbed Fushi's hand. With a sweep of spirit energy, a small wound appeared on his hand. Fushi held his hand and cried out. Golden blood flowed out from between his fingers. Although it was very little, it still stunned everyone present. As expected, Wu Lingyu and Mo said at the same time. The two of them looked at each other and their eyes were the same. They already knew the place Fushi was talking about. It was a place that only existed in legends. Chapter 1957. Everyone welcomes you. Please remember the address of this website, so that you can read the latest chapters of Crazy Wife, 5th Miss Divine Doctor. Sima Yue looked at them in confusion. What did they know? Fushi was even more surprised. He looked at the two of them and asked, "How did you know?" It's simple. People with golden blood can only be found in that legendary place. Mou said, "I didn't expect you to say that you came from that place." No wonder he couldn't recognize the thing that Fushi took out. No one had ever seen the thing from that place. "I won't say anything. I won't say anything. I won't say anything even if you ask me." Fushi covered his mouth. He looked as if he didn't want to know anything from them. "Where is that place?" Sima Yue asked. "It's a place where gods live." Wu Lingyu said, "I always thought it was just a legend. I didn't expect it to really exist." Sima Yue recalled the scene she saw in the chaotic river. Those creatures that came up from the river all left in the end. As for where they went, no one knew. It seemed that other than the 9 Nether clan, everyone else had disappeared. Perhaps they really went to a higher level place. Since your place is higher level than this place, why can't you solve your problem? Sigh, I'm also depressed about this. But there's no way. Fushi sighed, maybe if I were here I would have died on the spot. I wouldn't even be alive now. That's true. Then let's go back and do some research. See if we can find a way to solve your problem. Sima Yue said, "Did you kill all those people?" "No." This answer surprised Sima Yue. Did these guys have a change of heart? Mou said that they were all his old friends. That's why they were only heavily injured and not killed. However, this is the only time. Wu Lingyu said. With this, they can be considered to have answered to the Anaheim. That's why they won't find trouble with Yue in the future. Mou explained. If there's a next time, they'll be dead. Black Shadow snorted. Let's leave this place first. There are many people coming here. Sima Yue said. All right. They wanted to fly away, but Fushi grabbed onto Sima Yue's clothes and said pitifully, bring me along, I can't fly. Wu Lingyu pulled his hand down and said coldly, I'll take you. Fushi shrunk his neck and thought to himself, why is this person so cold? It's too scary. He wanted to protest because he did not want him to bring him along, but Sima Yue had already flown away. Looking at the remaining MOU, he decided to forget about it. What if he threw him down from midair? This kind of old man's personality was too difficult to grasp. It was better for him to follow this ice block. They left the Blue Cloud Mountain range. Once they were far away from the crowd, MOU called out the little red bird and left. After flying for a long time, they finally arrived at a small, inconspicuous city. They went to find an inn to stay in. MOU very heroically booked the entire inn, making the shopkeeper extremely happy. Fushi followed behind Sima Yue and said, Yue, when are you going to do it for me? He felt that he was losing control of his power. He was afraid that he would suddenly die one day. Sima Yue understood his worries. It was the same as when she saw her power increase. It was like a ticking time bomb. Who knew when it would explode? Don't worry. Since I promised you, I will do my best. She patted his head, but not now. What? We have to get rid of those people who are following us. If I start treating you without a stable environment, it will be irresponsible of you. Sima Yue said, although those people won't cause any danger, they are still a problem. Someone is following us? Aren't they afraid of you and MOU? Fushi asked. Their status was not something that ordinary people could compare to. Following them like this, weren't they afraid of being killed? For the mythical dragon order, there will always be people who will take risks. Sima Yue said, you were introduced by the old principal. I will ensure your safety. Fushi heard her words and looked at her blankly. Her smile was so comfortable. Although her words were not passionate, he could feel her determination. She said that she would ensure his safety. He believed her. He smiled at her, and his round eyes narrowed into thin slits. Those who knew him well knew that this was his true smile. You haven't rested for a long time, right? Go find a room and have a good rest. I will call you after we take care of those people. Sima Yue said. Yue, why are you so good to me? Fushi looked up and asked. You were introduced by the old principal. I believe in his judgment. He will not introduce some rascal to me. Moreover, I understand your anxious and worried feelings. Sima Yue replied with a smile. You also understand? Yes, I know what it feels like to have an uncertain force in your body. What? Have you experienced it before? Yes. I have experienced it before. Do you know why I came to the ghost realm? It was because I could not control the force in my body. In the end, my body exploded and I died. So, I understand your feelings. I will not let you experience that kind of pain. Sima Yue comforted him. His agitated heart finally calmed down. How long it had been since he was so quiet. He looked at her back view and his lips moved. His innocent eyes surged with a layer of darkness. She was really a woman that he could not see through. However, he liked her and wanted to get close to her. She was different from those people, right? Wu Lingyu stood in front of him and blocked his view. He looked at him coldly. Fushi thought he would say something, but he only gave him a look and left. What a possessive guy. Fushi muttered, I am just a little girl, but he is so fierce. Although his heart was not like that. Perhaps this time not only can I heal my body, I will also have an unexpected gain. He smiled and hummed a little tune. He skipped to his room to rest. Just as Sima Yue said, he had not had a good rest for a long time. Although he could let the underworld beast protect him when he walked in the mountains, he had never really relaxed. He was either worried about being hunted down or thinking about when his body would explode. Now with her, his heart had calmed down. He could also sleep peacefully. If even she couldn't do anything about it, then perhaps it was the end of his life. I have almost finished all the walnuts I cracked. When I have time, I will crack some more and invite her to eat with me. That you're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.